actually gone live. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I've switched over to this.
For
So
streaming across multiple platforms?
Yep. I'm doing it on Facebook and YouTube now. So.
Yeah, because I was just watching on Facebook. I'd rather watch you on YouTube because often I hate how if you're watching a video on YouTube and then you like put your phone in your pocket or you minimize it, it just kills the audio.
Yeah.
Where like in YouTube, if you have YouTube Red, you can have background. So if you close the app, it just keeps playing.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually kind of useful. So like.
Well, now you can watch me on YouTube or listen to me.
Yeah, I didn't know you were.
Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Haha.
Let's see. Are we live? Let me check.
We're live. Yeah.
Let me look at my channel.
Should be.
Yeah, because if we are live, we are live. All right, cool.
There's a boomer.
All right. Let me shoot the link out to a few spots. Oh, we got people popping in. Bass and Guitar, what's up? Jay Park, what's up? What's up?
Hey, what up, fellas?
How's it going, man? What's up? Bass and Guitar is like, he's this kid, and he follows me on Instagram, and he shoots me all these awesome questions and all these messages, and he wants to like get all this gear, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna pick up which rod should I get? And they're like $400 rods, and he's like, I'm 11. I'm like, dude, how are you? Bass and Guitar, how are you? What kind of job are you doing at 11 that you're saving up money to get a $400 Loomis rod? I want to know.
Yeah, what cartel are you working for, and are they hiring?
Right. So I'm gonna blast this link out to a few spots on. I have my own. My Deal Hunter group on Facebook's pretty big, so I'm gonna throw it out there. It's not a deal, but I don't care. It's my group. I'm gonna shoot it out.
There you go. Yeah. I just shared that I was gonna be live on here. So.
Yeah, this is just a screw around. I have nothing to do tonight, and it's storming. It's like, what else we got going on?
Right. Well, I'm recording the audio, so if it turns out to be a good conversation, I'll throw it up as a podcast episode.
Nice. Live stream going on right now.
Oh, the tornado
siren. Post.
Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
What's that?
The tornado sirens went away?
Maybe they got taken out.
They took out. I think the fire station's gone too. Great. Not coming to save me.
That's funny.
Oh, well.
All right. We got that link sent out. Let's see here. What else can I shoot it out on?
I wish I could share this to my YouTube.
Yeah, that's the problem, is cross-sharing things on YouTube or streaming across multiple accounts doesn't really work. Because ideally, you would be able to like have your stream going, and if you're streaming with another YouTuber, it would like simulcast on 2 streams. Right. I don't think there's a way of doing that, unfortunately. There's just
I would have to grab the video and then stream it myself somehow through my whole.
I know, it's a pain in the ass. It should just be like, you go in a YouTube studio, you fire up a thing, and it's like, hey, is there another YouTuber you want to invite? You hit yes, and then it just works. I don't know. There's got to be a reason they haven't implemented something like that, and they're having to go through like these third-party apps. What's up, Best One? That's an awesome name. That's what you like your boat.
Bass like
Force.
It's like Space Force, but different.
What's going on, guys? So if you guys don't know, Doug and I are both up in Minnesota, and we are currently in a thunderstorm cell that's ripping right through the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. And my sky outside my door right now is literally yellow. So if the feed suddenly cuts out, we might not. Oh yeah, that's a great shot right there.
I'm right there, right where that red is, that big blob of red. Maybe you can see the green dot.
If the feed suddenly cuts out, this would be one of those like, so there's this Reddit. Do you go on Reddit?
No.
Okay. No, really? No Reddit?
I did a little bit, but no.
So Reddit, there's a subreddit called Watching People Die.
Oh, like I want to go on there.
Well, it's like, it's kind of a macabre, obviously, subreddit, but it's all devoted to like, hey, a guy's on driving his car, and he there's a traffic cam of him running off a road and that killed him or something like that. So it's like, it's literally all these feeds of like, or clips of stuff people just happen to catch on video that resulted in a casualty. And it's like, it's weird. I've gone on a few times and I'm like, a lot of it could just be like ocean material of like climate scout or something like that. A lot of
This has gotten dark quick.
No, dude, Reddit's the dark, and there's all good stuff and a lot of weird stuff. But anywho, I have some. Let's see. I threw up a new video tonight, and I was hoping to watch while I'm watching this. It's kind of fun to watch your analytics in YouTube, and like when you throw up a video, like you see the spike come in and everyone starts watching it and stuff. And I always love like seeing what results in that. Like, some like, you know, if you got a good video, people actually watch it past the first 3 minutes because they have statistics on that. Like if it's like, oh, they watch your video for about a minute and a half and they checked out, and you're like, okay, I guess that one kind of sucked. Like I didn't.
Oh hell, you got 60 views in 40 minutes. That ain't bad. No,
it's all about feeding that algorithm, man. YouTube's algorithm is a steam engine, dude. You got to like keep pumping it full of wood.
Yeah, I'm tired of algorithms.
Oh yeah, I know you've been battling the Facebook one.
Yeah, I've gotten over it though right now, but we'll see what happens once we stop giving shit away.
Yeah, giveaways are good. I was gonna if I come back in on yours podcast, I was gonna bring some goodies to do a giveaway on. I have, because I just got so much shit laying around my house. Like, oh wait, you're gonna stream this. I shouldn't swear.
No, I don't give a shit. Dude, have you never listened to my show? I mean,
no, I have. Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a little bit.
We don't care.
A little blue on there.
Say what you need to say. I don't care.
Yeah. So, let me share this one thing out.
What are we talking about tonight?
Well, I got topics, man. I got stuff loaded up.
Okay.
So, we're mid-season now, right? I mean, well, wait, no, we're in the back half of the season. August is kind of like,
everybody's about to shut down in like 2 weeks because, oh my God, my kids are going back to school.
Oh, so dude, don't even start with the school thing. Anymore. Don't even start with the school thing. But I don't know. One thing I want to talk about is I'm not sure if you were like paying attention to the ICAST 2020 attempt at putting out content virtually. Did you watch any of that stuff?
I kind of did a little bit, and I don't know. I'm not a huge, the thing is that they can do it way, way, way better, but they didn't really have the time to really figure out what they needed to do.
Yeah, a couple things glared out to me. One second. A couple things popped out to me of how these companies had to handle not being able to set up a booth at a trade show, because these companies are like so dialed into like, we have this booth and we have the people show up to the booth and everyone gets tactile and plays with the products and gets hands on. We get to like do these videos. People come to us with their cameras and their tech, and then we just say, "Here's our thing. Here's our thing. Here's our thing. Here's our thing." You know what I mean? Yep. Now the script got flipped on a lot of these companies where they had these fishing companies where they had to now produce the stuff. They couldn't just show it and then have people come over with cameras and whatever. Yep. It was shocking at how bad a lot of the people involved in these companies were at tech. Like so bad. I was watching all these promo videos. Like I started ripping through all the Tackle Warehouse and all the ICAST like promo videos that people threw up of, here's our new product. Some of the camera angles are like this.
Oh Jesus! Really?
It was like, here's our hey, we got this new thing. It was like people who can function maybe at a trade show but can't function with a laptop or like a camera or tech.
All they need to do is get a cell phone, set it up just like you're doing any sort of video on a cell phone.
Right.
It wouldn't have been that hard. I mean, if if I can do this and run cameras and laptops and soundboards and all that stuff for the podcast, I'm sure that they could have done a way better job.
Well, I think it's like you have these fishing companies, these tackle companies, and they don't know tech. They don't understand technology right at all for the most part. And then all of a sudden they got to like deliver their new product lines in like short bites to internet audiences, and they have no idea how to do it. They don't have like experience. I was talking with, there's this really good YouTuber called Tackle Advisors. He's like this super real nerd tech guy. He's got a ton of followers. Him and I talk on Instagram sometimes. And he was like, why didn't some of these companies who have no internet credibility, nobody that works there under 25, you know what I mean?
Right.
Why didn't they go and tap some of these like fishing YouTubers and just pay them to do their promo videos?
Right.
Like, hey, we're dropping a new line of baits. Hey, YouTube guy, why? we're going to ship you all these baits. You go out in your boat, film catching some fish on them, do some cool videos, do your own editing, and we'll send you a check. like,
Well, hell, you could have just done it like Big Bite Baits, right? They just have the man in charge. He sits at a table. He's got the baits in front of him, and he talks about the baits. That's all he needed. That's all anybody needed to do. We don't care about the fancy whatnot. Just sit down, nice clear picture.
That was even a hard hurdle to get over.
Yeah, but it's like here's the product. This is what the product is all about. Blah 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 for 5 minutes. If it
blah blah blah.
Long, well, you know,
no, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but
no, they don't. Yeah, I don't know.
See, that's a good thought. Like that would have been the bare minimum to me. Like that would have been like the minimum bar. That's all you need to do.
That's all you need to do.
And a lot of them didn't do that well. But my thing is this could have been an opportunity to use the unshackled from a trade show and get out into the world and use the internet to its full advantage. Like to me, it was like if I had a tackle brand and I'm like, oh, we don't got to go set up a booth at the place or whatever. I'm taking that budget and I'm sinking it into like really kick-ass videos that we can throw up on the internet and Instagram, YouTube, you know, the social medias, and then like try to hit a new audience with this now, because they spend a lot of money to go to ICAST. Like those trade shows, they got to fly people, you know, they got to have everyone's per diems. They got to like, you know, feed them for a week. I'm just put all that money into like making a couple really cool videos about your new bait with like some slow-mo and music and be like, this is cool stuff. Like none of them did that. And I was like, you have the opportunity where you're forced to do something innovative or outside the box. And a lot of them did nothing. And I was like, it seems like a missed marketing opportunity, or like to prove that, you know what, we don't need a booth. We can like do cool shit out in the world. And a lot of them just had a guy sitting at a desk with the camera like this going, yeah, so we got our new mimic minnows.
Yeah. right. Yeah. No, I think they got so caught up in all of a sudden, oh no, what do we do now? That some tried too hard and didn't really do a good job explaining stuff. And then other one, like, because they tried too much, they got lost, where other ones are like, yeah, here's our stuff and this is it. Like, okay, well, I could have just gone to your website. There's actually a rod and reel company that you could go online on their website and look at everything before they even released it.
Right. Yeah, a lot of those companies did that.
And then when they released it through this
jump the gun
video thing, they didn't say anything different than what you could have just looked up online the day before.
Right, exactly. They did nothing, they didn't add anything. So Jay says, I'll say this: if they sent any of their baits to the Guggen guys, I would take. Well, first off, they wouldn't send baits to the Guggen guys because the Guggen guys are selling their own baits. Like they got their own thing. But I mean, they could have found there's a lot of YouTubers out there that don't have huge followings but make really great content, and you could have pumped some of those guys up and got them cheap. Like you could have thrown it to like a Tyler's Real Fishing or some of those guys that like are kind of like like not the big stars, but kind of in the middle. And they would have just, you know, they would have probably went nuts with this stuff. But I don't know. It was weird because like a lot of these guys have, like Lose is a great example. Lose didn't really do any great stuff for like their ICAST releases, but they got guys like Tyler's Real Fishing on their like roster. And I don't know why they don't just tap some of those guys to do some of their content. Anyway, I guess my overall point was ICAST was like a total and utter flop. Like total flop to me. I think nobody's baits got any, nobody's baits or equipment really got any publicity. The presentations were terrible. Tackle Warehouse. I was watching their videos. Doug, I was going to send this link, but I forgot. They literally had a video where they were introducing a product, and then they're introducing a product. Then they cut to the company whose product they're talking about, and when they cut back, both of them are sitting like this, going, like yelling at someone off camera because they were making too much noise. They're like, yeah, one sec. Yeah, there's people talking back on. And they're like, oh yeah, let's get back to talking about your creature bait. Sorry. And I was like, that's in the official video that they put on their Tackle Warehouse YouTube page. It was hilarious.
Man. Well, the problem is that ICAST is not meant for the general public. It's a place where
I know
companies go, and then bait shops and people in the industry go there. The public isn't supposed to see it. And that was part of the problem with it this year, is that everybody put their stuff out. So now all these bait shops, you know, Omnia and Gander, I'm sure, and Cabela's, Bass Pro, all of a sudden now everybody sees what everything is offered by a certain company. And now instead of the bait shops kind of deciding what they want to order. Now it's all the consumers are seeing everything that these companies brought out new, and now we're going, we want this, we want this, we want this, where typically they're not going to end up releasing everything that they have at ICAST because not everybody's going to order everything.
Yeah,
so
if you don't get orders, the bait never happens, or you never see it in the real world. Yeah.
Yep. What up, Kistler?
So Paul Delaria, got a shout out to Paul. He's a coworker of mine.
Yeah.
Who's a walleye guy. He's the Mr. Walleye in my office. Gotcha. So I want to shout out to him. He just got a new cabin, and I'm gonna have to go check it out sometime up by the Brainerd area. So shout out to Paul.
Nice.
His desk is literally next to mine at our office downtown whenever we go back, and him and I get into very long fishing conversations. He's an ice fisherman too, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everything at ICAST, there were a few things that I was kind of like, oh yeah, that's cool, but I wasn't like really, oh my God, I've got to have it type of stuff, So
yeah, I thought the best place that consolidated all of the information was here. The Tackle Tour guys, they basically just took all the press release and all the pretty pictures that everyone had at ICAST, and they just consolidated it all into their website. The guys who run Tackle Tour are really great. I talked to a couple of them on Instagram, and they're like hardcore gear nerds. Their forums are like, really, really popular. But I don't know. To me, I was checking Tackle Tour more often than like Tackle Warehouse or some of the other outlets that I just thought they consolidated all the stuff the best.
Yeah.
What are you drinking? You got your PBR?
You got the PBR, yeah. Wired to Fish did a good job. They had
Wired to Fish did pretty good.
Yeah, and then God, Brett McComas is gonna kill me. Target Walleye did a pretty good job too. They had a lot of information on new stuff too. So yeah.
Nice. What's up, Alan? Alan's watching the big screen. So that's a cool thing about YouTube streams. You can throw it up anywhere, unlike Facebook streams.
Yep. And like Alan better be dropping me off some of that vanilla apple pie when he brings me that rod. So
what makes it vanilla apple pie? Do you like put some vanilla in the whatever, like vanilla flavoring?
We're not talking about actual apple pie.
Wait, some vanilla I guess. Oh, this is a euphemism?
No, it's apple pie moonshine.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's actual food. You guys know him, so he's drinking moonshine. So okay.
Yeah. Well, at least that's what I know. He made a bunch. So unless he made some apple pies too, otherwise I'll take that as well. Thanks.
Right. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's see. Available to make, and I'm available to make any and all Loomis rod videos. Send them to me. Yeah, Loomis is a company. They're a rare company where they don't really need anybody to promote their stuff. You get to a certain level in like the fishing industry where like Daiwa, Shimano, Loomis, where you just do one thing and then everyone just freaks out about it no matter what. You don't need to like pump it up too much. But you got your more like fringe companies and like mid-level fishing companies that really need to like get creative and outside the box. I didn't really see much of that going on during the online ICAST. 13 was pretty bad. I thought 13, like they had a whole bunch of new reels. They had they rebooted some of the rod lines. They added some new colors to their ice fishing reels and all stuff like that. And I don't know, they just didn't have much like pop to any of their stuff this year. And I was like, they probably have dropped the most stuff, and it was like the least talked about.
I mean, 13 does a lot of stuff, but like the reels, they're already reels that have been out for a while. So just
they got new ones. They have they have a new one with the finger trigger, like the baitcaster where the trigger slides the brake instead of turning it on the side. They have there's like a couple new reels.
You talking about the ice fishing?
No, I'm talking about their baitcasters.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have some new stuff.
Yeah. Here's Alan here with the old apple pie moonshine watches on the big screen.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Alan. Yeah. I don't know. Loomis is interesting. They dropped a whole new line of IMX rods and some really cool ones. Some of the rods in their IMX line looked pretty interesting. It was rods that people were kind of begging for, like a dedicated Ned rig rod and some other things. Okay. But the problem was the Loomis stuff all is like so backed up right now. Who knows when any of those IMXs are actually going to make it to stores? Maybe like this Christmas-ish.
See, I don't get into the rods and the reels like you do. I mean, I'm just like, okay, cool. Not yet exactly. Wait till after next year. For me, it's like, okay, cool. I found the Bass X rods, and they work really good. They're built. They seem to be they hold up really well, and I've been able to use them for whatever I'm trying to fish for, or the techniques I'm using. So I haven't really been like, okay, I need to get so specific. Looking at anything really like expensive. So.
Right.
This winter, I'm going to definitely try to get a little more specific with the powers and the actions for Ned rigging, wacky rigging, this and that, and blah blah blah. So, yeah, money's another thing too. I mean, it's a rod.
It really is.
A rod is $100. Well, what do you need with a rod? You need a reel. So you're looking at minimum $150 for that.
Mm-hmm.
So. It gets expensive quick. It's not like, I need a bunch of hooks. Okay, I can go out and buy 100 hooks because they're like a quarter a piece.
You're in luck because you can't get anything right now because of COVID. Loomis and super backed up, still waiting on X-Prides we ordered in April. Well, so X-Prides are starting to hit stores now. I've seen a couple shops post X-Pride shipments. So X-Prides are starting to leak back out like this week. But yeah, overall. So Doug, I don't know if you know this, but like a lot of the plants, like G. Loomis's plant, St. Croix plant, they all shut down, right? They were all totally out of operation for a while. Mm-hmm. And also, what I also heard was Loomis's warehouse is actually really close to Seattle, where they actually like stockpile all their rods that go out to the distribution chains. And because of the rioting and obviously COVID, but then all the rioting in the Seattle area, it actually like stopped all the trucks going in and out of that Loomis warehouse. So that even like slowed the pipeline down even more when all the the riots happened. So apparently Loomis is like not getting stuff out to anybody anytime soon. It's going to be a slow trickle. We're going to start seeing stuff pop up in August, September, October, but don't expect. The other thing too is if you're expecting to get a rod or a reel like from your shop, you better have let them know a while ago so you can get in the queue, because when those stuff hit the stores, they're already spoken for, right? Like, you got to like earmark, you got to go, hey, let me know next time you get an A52S in, because I want one. Here's a deposit. And then, you got to basically get in line because everyone's just starving right now for equipment. I mean, you got people who break stuff or want new stuff or lose stuff mid-season. There's always that like mid-season, I got to replace things or get new things, and no one's been able to get it for months. So
hell, it's been this way a month into the pandemic. I mean, everybody was outside fishing, so everything was sold out. I mean, if you needed anything for the last 2 to 3 months, you've been almost out of luck. I've had to buy hooks with weed guards on them
and then cut them off
because they're can't find the normal ones in the store. And I was like, God damn it.
My best luck has been going directly to the manufacturers. Like, instead of like, I want to get some worms from a tackle store, I just go to the worm maker and order them directly. So like, if I need
sometimes that works, but like Rapala, good luck. They're even out most of the stuff on the website.
Right. Isaac says that P5's got back in, or X-Bites got back in stock. So X-Bites is a rod that I did a review on a while back, and it's gotten a lot of people's attention on that rod. So like the shops that had that rod have, they sold, when I posted my review, a lot of shops didn't have them. So I felt kind of bad. I'm like, hey, here's this great rod that you can't buy right now because everyone's sold out. So now the shops are starting to get them back in this week, and they're probably going real fast. So yeah, if you want an X-Bites, go to hook up now. They might still have them in stock, but they got them. And then Ben said a lot of this Megabass stuff that they're getting now, they won't see it again until probably 2021, like into like December, January.
Yeah. I was actually looking at, what is it here? The hookup tackle. They got a little that 7 hours ago on their Instagram stories or whatever. What the hell is this thing called? It's just this little minnow style plastic. They've got it on like,
I think it was like OSP minnows.
I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Let's see that thing, right? Don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. So those are, dude, we've seen those for years up here. Those are like
just Rapala's,
little jerk minnow, or what's the Kalen's jerk minnow is similar. Rapala's
Northland Tackle makes one like it too.
Yeah, the Impulse, the split tail, the little fork tail Impulse minnow. what I'm trying to think. What's the Berkeley one? The
Twitch tail.
the Twitch tail. Yeah.
Yep.
So the thing is, like, a lot of this stuff is not anything new to us in the north. Like, we've been using little teeny minnow baits to catch crappies forever, right? So some of the stuff Ben posts, he's like, oh, the new thing coming over from Japan. I'm like, oh yeah, we've been using those since I was like 22 crappie fishing.
But these are some proprietary gelatin coated plastic with a rubber insert and PVC tubing or some shit.
What's unique about that stuff though is typically the colors. A lot of the time, Ben, or any of these like specialty tackle shops, they just get crazy ass colors. Like a lot of the times, like you go to the Berkeley or the minnows, like you said, Northlands, they typically just have natural looking. Like here's a smelt, here's a white one, here's a just minnow colors. Where you get them from Japan, it's like half chartreuse, half clear. You know what I mean? Or like you get all sorts of crazy ass color combos. So I think that's like the big difference.
Well, that and like their moldings. I mean, they'll have eyeballs and 45 gills and scale patterns and all that stuff. And it's like, well, the fish can't see that because okay, so cool.
Fish Arrow makes a good micro minnow. Yeah, actually, here I'm gonna get to this comment first. Does Tackle Trap provide discounts on Megabass? I know the hookup at Tackle Warehouse do not. So Tackle Trap does. Tackle Trap has a baseline 10% code you can use anytime. It's called BBC10, and I think there's a FB10. So basically, Gary at Tackle Trap does 10% off anything. Doesn't matter if it's Megabass or not. Hookup Tackle does do discounts on rods and Megabass stuff, but you have to be very friendly with Ben, and you got to be a good customer. He doesn't just dish out the discounts to everybody because he doesn't have any problem selling some of the stuff. So if you do a big order, he will definitely hook you up. Now, Tackle Warehouse, Doug. The biggest way to get a giant discount at Tackle Warehouse is to be a tackle seller on Tackle Warehouse. I don't know if you know it.
You can be a tackle seller?
Yeah. So say Doug, say you go, I'm going to make Doug's jigs. I have the best jigs around. I want to sell some jigs.
True story.
Right. You can go on a Tackle Warehouse and apply to have Doug's jigs listed in the Tackle Warehouse store. Right. So you can say, hey, I'll supply you. These jigs are great. Give me a purchase order. If Tackle Warehouse decides to put you into their shop, which, you got to go through their process or whatever, then you get a perpetual 40% discount on anything inside of Tackle Warehouse.
Jesus. I'm going to start making Doug's jigs quick.
Yeah. So if anyone who has a company that sells stuff to Tackle Warehouse, they get a fatty discount on just buying stuff from Tackle Warehouse. That's a lot. People don't know that. That's a fun fact.
Interesting.
So if you have like a little tackle company and you're like, oh, I just want to get, you can, that discount's pretty juicy if you're a seller.
That's not bad. Nope. Flip shotting. What the hell is flip shotting? Is that just drop shotting when you're flipping it in a weed?
Do y'all like flip shotting up there in Minnesota? What's your setups like? Okay.
First of all, we're not A like Canada, so knock it off. Yeah,
the A thing is definitely overplayed. A is a Canadian thing. Minnesota's are more, we go, a lot.
Fargo is in North Dakota, also not in Minnesota. So
no, the A thing is vastly overplayed. Yeah. However, flip shot. So flip shot is also called power shotting. It goes by a couple different names.
Oh yeah.
It's go ahead.
Well, I didn't use a bait caster, but that's what I was power shotting on white bear. I was using a 1/2 ounce instead of a lighter weight, and then actually what I was doing too, because I was fishing this big grass flat, is I was actually I was using a 4-foot leader because I was
that's really cool.
I was casting it as far as I possibly could, so that angle got so skinny, so thin. Right. I'm trying to instead of me fishing. There we go. All right, so I'm up. This is my line. If I'm up above it, well, the further away you get, the more shallow this
it'll lay
gets.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. So a 12 to 18 inch leader, you might only be 3-4 inches above the bottom. Well, if I'm trying to get above the grass and I'm casting it 30-40 yards out, well, I need to bring that bait higher up the line. So that's what I did, and it worked out good. So yeah, I guess I flip shot now.
Yeah, well, that's definitely So flip shotting, don't you know? I've heard it. Don't you know? I've heard it. I've heard it once in a while, but it's not common. So we live in the Twin Cities. When you get out into rural Minnesota, then the you know what I hear from my family a lot? just to go off topic, is oh yeah, yeah. Like I have an aunt who literally she's like, oh yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's way out in western Minnesota. Anyway, so flip shotting,
Yep.
I do it. I learned this technique a couple years ago. I'm actually, in my hand right here is a 1 ouncer. So this is a big one. So I flip shot usually with 1 ounce or 3/4 on a bait caster, fluorocarbon. And then I actually it's the only time I use the VMC spin shot hooks. They make a spin shot with a 3/0 and 4/0 EWG. So like a straight Texas rigging meaty style hook on a spin shot. Yeah. So I go like 15-pound fluorocarbon to the spin shot, and then fluorocarbon off the bottom to like a big weight, and then I run the EWG, and then I just use like a creature bait. You can use a D-bomb, you can use a mini destroyer, and it's a great bait for flipping coontail specifically. So the Tonka guys, like the guys who fish Tonka all the time, a lot of them have a flip shot. They either use like a long worm or they use a creature bait, and they flip the coontail deep. So if you're fishing coontail in like 10 or plus feet, the nice thing about the flip shot is it goes really clean into the coontail down to where the stalks are, because coontail kind of fans out, right? And if it's fanning out like a tree, and you can get your bait down into the stalks clean. And what's great about the flip shot versus a jig is the jig's getting right down into the bottom. So if the bottom's got some silt, your jig's kind of down there in the silt, whereas the flip shot, it's going to keep that creature bait up off the bottom, right? Like a drop shot. Yep. But what's cool about what's the best thing about the flip shot is you run it on heavy line, and when a bass eats it, you can just crack them. It's so fun. Like you drop it down, you jiggle, and you feel a thump, and you feel the line starting to go in, and you're like, duh, 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 and you just brain them.
I'm gonna have to try that.
It's fun.
Flip shotting with that heavier weight and whatnot.
Yeah, it's not a great it's a technique you can literally use to just flip. Like you can replace it with a flipping, like instead of like what we were doing, flipping the grass with like just a bolt sinker and a crot tube, you can replace it with a flip shot. The flip shot goes really clean in and out of most grass. The trick is, though, you want a heavier rod, because you got to drive that bigger EWG hook vertically into the fish's mouth. So you really want to crack them. So a medium heavy might be like a little underpowered for a flip shot. Most guys go with a heavy. I flip shot with the Megabass Perfect Pitch. That's been the rod I've been using the last 2 years for flip shotting. But just I need like 7 to 7.2 heavy is fine.
Interesting. That's one more thing I'll have to try next year.
Just specifically, I'd specifically try it on coontail. So when you get on Tonka Lake or Coontail Lake, give it a whirl. Let's see what else we got. The VMC ringed hooks work great for the flip shot. Yeah, that would work, because you can tie both ends to tie both ends to the ring, or you could probably just Palomar knot the ring like a drop shot. Now that I think about it. Huh. That's interesting. I may have to think about that. Bass Force, that's an interesting one. I'm going to play with that.
Yeah.
Because that ring could be big enough to run 2 knots, or you could just. All right, Bass Force, tell us how you. I
think you would almost have to do 2 knots, because of the way that if I'm not mistaken, so the hook, the eye on the hook would lay flat, which means that. So the eye of the hook's this way, right? Okay, whatever. Like
I go grab one right now if it wasn't raining outside. So then I go grab one of the hooks.
I think the ring would go up and down. So I don't know how well it would work if you Palomared that. So you want to tie on the top.
Right. That was my first inkling, was 2 knots.
Yep.
Let's see. Alan says, like today, we're going to drink a lot of beer. It's the Call of the Wild. Cheers to Alan. I got my hazy IPA right now.
Oh, yeah.
Sierra Nevada. Let's see. Megabass warranty sucks kind of right now, huh? Sucks, most rod models aren't available. Yeah, that's the thing right now. If you have a broken rod, it doesn't matter that any of the manufacturers, whether it's St. Croix, Loomis, Shimano, this is a really bad time to send your rod in for a replacement, because they're going to basically say, here's the 3 rods we actually have in stock, and we'll let you pick one of those.
Yep.
So what's funny is I send in a Megabass rod to get warranty replaced. Then they sent me back a list of all the rods I could get, because the one which is funny because I didn't really want that rod anyway. I was probably going to sell it. But they gave me a list, and they gave me a list of 5 rods I had 3 of them already. So there's 2 rods on the list I could get. And I'm like, well, 50-50, I'll just pick one of them.
Yeah.
So here's the funny part. One of the rods was a giant swim bait rod, a 710. It's called the Mark 48, or it's like a 7.8. It's like a 7.8 swim bait rod that does up to 5 or 6 ounces, or a spinning rod called the Felissa that is like a medium light. So I could basically go either end of the spectrum. Do I want to throw giant ass 5-ounce swim baits, or do I want to throw hair jigs? Like, that was my choice.
Are we going crappie fishing or tarpon fishing? I don't know.
Exactly.
I had to get send in one of my Tatulas to get fixed. I didn't send it into Daiwa. The worm gear, and then the what the hell they call it on the Tatula, the thing with the bat wing deal, the plastic part that held that to the worm gear broke.
Wait. Says the T-wing.
Yeah, the T-wing, right?
So the line guide that flips up and down.
The part that connects that to the worm gear.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Just plastic that broke. Plus, my worm gear was broken.
How'd that happen?
That was $100. $100 to fix.
And what reel was it?
The Tula SVTW, whatever the hell it is.
The old Tatula, or the older SV, or the newest one with the low profile?
I bought it 2 years ago. It's the one.
Okay.
Purple.
Because that might actually not have been worth it to fix. Because you know what I mean? Because like the newer one is 130-ish, so you could spend just $30 more and just got the newer version.
Well, no, this one brand new is $180. So yeah, I'm like, well, I'll fix it. Whatever. It was on my frog rod, of course. Happened while I was fishing at a tournament. So that was fun. Oh well.
So Bass Force says tie the hook, then run a dropper separately. So he's doing what you're saying, 2 knots. That's good.
Yep.
What's your go-to buzzbait rod? So the buzzbait, do you ever throw the buzzbait?
I do every once in a while, and I never have luck on it.
I have a love-hate relationship with the buzzbait.
I don't throw it enough is my problem.
So my love of the buzzbait is when you get a bite on a buzzbait, it is always the most violent, like wake you up strikes, because when you're doing it, they go bang, and they usually come out of the water, tail shoots up. Like buzzbait hits are so awesome. Like they're better than frog hits. For my money, top water wise, buzzbait strikes are the most exciting. The problem is typically buzzbait bites don't last all day. Like I'll throw it, I'll get 1 or 2 hits, and then I'll throw it for like another hour, and I won't get another one. I don't know what it is. Like for me, buzzbaits are like, if you get that 1 hit right away, you're not putting the damn thing down for 2 hours because you're like, I want that again. It's like getting an adrenaline rush.
I throw the buzzbait when nothing else will work, and I remember that I have buzzbaits in my boat. Other than that, I never throw one.
I like throwing buzzbaits when it's slick, calm, and a little overcast, like with any top water. And I like throwing buzzbaits when I don't know where fish are. Like if I go, I'm at a lake, all of this bank looks good, I can sit and work a popper real slow, or I'll just whip out the buzzbait and just go boom, 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 like just run the bank. So if you want to move around a lot,
that's where I break out the Chapo, which is the Berkeley Whopper Plopper.
The Chapo is good, but as well as I do, Whopper Ploppers, Chapos, they pick up so much grass. Like if there's any debris, like if we're on a lake where there's been boaters all day and they're throwing up junk onto the
and that's why I throw them very early, first thing, and then wherever I'm starting to get weeds and stuff, I put it away. That first morning, slick calm, in between docks that are, you got 6 to 10, maybe 15 feet in between docks. Those area where the fish haven't gone up and hid in the docks yet, where they're still kind of roaming around. That is the perfect time to throw a Chapo, Whopper Plopper in between those docks.
I agree with you. Now, the buzzbait,
because it's proven, Brian.
I got nothing to add. That's what you said is good. The buzzbait is great because it's essentially weedless. Like you can get this thing moving, and it can go right through debris, gunk, over the tops of weeds. So to me, it's like it'll get more of a reaction strike than a frog will sometimes, and usually always better hookups. Like I don't miss as many fish on a buzzbait as I do with a frog. This is the new Mega Bass. So Jay Park already picked up. Oh, so we didn't answer his question. What's your buzzbait rod? Gonna try the 7.2 heavy X Pride. I'm gonna tell you right now, that is gonna be a stiff rod for a buzzbait. I don't think you're going to get very big casts with the 7.2 X Pride. The tip, I've owned that rod. The tip does not load up that much. And when you're throwing a buzz baits are lighter for the most part, and they catch a lot of wind. I mean, you've got this big blade. So you want to have a real whippy tail and a longer rod. Yep. So to me, the right buzzbait rod is like a 7.1 to 7.3 medium heavy for the most part. Like you don't need a stiff rod for a buzzbait. I mean, you can even get away with a medium if you're throwing like a 3/8 or a lighter buzzbait.
That's exactly what I use. I use the Bass X 7.1 or 7.2 moderate.
Perfect. Yep.
That's what I use. I use that for my cranks. I use it for my spinner baits. I use it for my chatterbaits. I use it for basically any bait you're casting out, and bringing it back in on a whatever retrieve, that kind of deal.
So I use the Megabass Javelin for topwater. Well, I use a Javelin for a bunch of stuff, but the Javelin is a really great buzzbait rod. It's a great spinnerbait rod. But I've used the Deimos and then a 7.2 medium heavy X Pride, which would probably be the more appropriate X Pride to use for a buzzbait, in my opinion. And the line doesn't matter much because they can't see it. You're chucking and winding fast. You can use braid, you can use fluorocarbon, mono, even be fine. It doesn't matter. So have you heard of this new Jamaica boa?
Is that the one where it hits that little bead or whatever and makes a bunch of noise? Yeah.
So it's got a welded like barrel right there, and it's just so that the blade whacks it and makes noise. So it's just an extra noise maker. Also, the other effect of this thing, apparently, I haven't tested this, is the blade when it hits the little metal thing right there, it kind of stops moving. There's a little resistance. So when you're casting this thing, the blade apparently doesn't spin as much because it basically hits either this thing or this thing like this and stops. So apparently this casts a little further according to their marketing. I don't know. We'll see. One thing that's interesting is look at the blade on this thing. Do you notice the blade itself has a curve? Do you see that? It's not a flat blade like most.
Oh, it's curved like this?
Yeah, it's like the bottom of an airplane.
That's weird.
You see that?
Yeah.
So, so this is Megabass's proprietary thing. They go, hey, we found a way to curve the blade a little bit, and what this does is it apparently makes it ride really high on the water.
Yeah.
So apparently it's acts like the bottom of a boat hull, and it really pulls it up. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna throw this thing as soon as I can. And of course, Megabass, they have to put little crazy paint jobs where the fish are never gonna see this.
Of course.
Look at the eyeball on this thing. Do you think a fish gives a crap about that eyeball? But look at that. It's like
crap about the front half of that damn thing.
So Megabass is amazing at marketing. They call this the Jamaica boa, which is a legit real species of snake. Right. So Google Jamaica boa. You can see what it looks like. But they gave it snake eyes. Like you see it's a horizontal eye.
Crazy.
Or sorry, vertical. So they went as far to make special eyes that look like a snake just for the buzzbait that they named after a snake.
Well, you have to.
Isn't that crazy though? Like that's how committed they are to their like bit. Like they think of an angle and they just go with it.
They better for $15 or whatever them damn things are.
But that's the thing. It's like if you're treating yourself to a cool bait like that, they're giving you your damn money's worth.
Right.
Like you're not wasting your $15 on something that has no love and care put into it.
Well, until a pike shows up and steals it anyways.
Oh gosh, enough with the pike stuff. You know what baits I've lost a pike this year? Like
there's a 40-incher on West Rush that owes me a $10 Spro frog. So.
Yeah, losing frog sucks, but typically when you lose a frog though, it's either you didn't check your knot or your knot started to get a little beat up and you need to retie.
No. I saw this fish, and I did not see the frog in its mouth because it had engulfed the whole thing.
Oh, it was down its throat. Oh, yeah, then you're screwed.
It took one. It came up, and I go, oh, my God, that's a big pike. And it was 40, all of 40, and then it just went, whoop, gone. 50-pound braid, no problem, gone.
Oh, yeah. Dude, when a pike is big enough to suck in a whole frog, there's nothing you can do. Typically, pike aren't big enough to get that whole thing in their mouth. They typically get the tips of their mouth. Whenever I catch a pike on a frog, it's always right in the top of their front lip.
Oh yeah, no, this one was a big one. This one was
Sounds
a big one. So I'm out of this question here. I don't jerk bait anything. So
Yeah, so jerkbait kayak rod. So first off, shout out for the Swedish chef. I love that. That's great. My kids have been watching Muppets nonstop for like the last 3 weeks. So I'm like, every one time I walk in the bedroom, they're either watching a Muppet show, Muppet movie, or like they're just all about the Muppets lately.
Well, that's because they've probably seen everything else out there to see because nobody's had anything to do for the last 6 months. Then watched it.
Yeah, running out. So looking for a jerkbait kayak rod. So the thing about kayak fishermen is typically they don't want long rods because for obvious reasons, you're sitting down and fishing. You don't want like a 7.4 or 7.3. I mean, they want shorter rods. Now, you're a St. Croix guy. St. Croix has a whole line of kayak mojos that they came out with. They have shorter, stubbier handles, and they have wind grip. So that, because your hands are getting more wet when you're kayak fishing because you're scooping fish out of the water right there. And, you got to put them on your bump board. I mean, it's a little more of a wetter scenario. But the Mega Bass, I'm sorry,
Nope, I'm coming back. Hold on.
No, it's fine. I'm going to look up the Mojo. I think the Mojo kayak line has a jerkbait rod. Let me look.
That's the wrong camera. What the world's going on here? The camera's all good.
So, Chef Matt, you might want to look into the St. Croix Mojo yak rods. If you're not in this, because they purposely have smaller handles and they've tried to balance them a little better for yak fishermen. Let me see. There's specs.
Jerkbait fishing in a kayak would seem just to be a giant pain in the ass. Like it'd be tough to do.
Unless you can stand up. If you can stand up in your yak, you can go tip down. It depends what kind of yak he's got.
Yeah, sometimes I forget that they stand up in kayaks.
Right.
I don't kayak fish, so I don't know. I'm too fat for a kayak.
So the cool thing about the St. Croix yak rods is they have shorter handles. So all their rods are like 7 foot and up, but they got a much stubbier handle. They have a 7 foot medium and a 7 foot medium light. Either of those, I would say, probably okay for jerkbaits. The Orochi Ronin I believe the Ronin is a spinning rod. I've not owned one. The jerkbait special I have not owned, so I can't give you any recommendations on the Orochis. Now, you have a 7 foot medium X-Bride. If you're already fishing with that, it's probably going to be fine. I'd say the only thing you might want to do is just downsize to a smaller rod. I don't know. But I would say no. There's not going to be a big benefit to going with a jerkbait specific rod for kayak fishing. Spinning rods, man. You ever throw a jerkbait on a spinning rod?
No, I don't throw jerkbaits. I don't throw jerkbaits.
Oh, so
I got a whole shit ton of them if anybody wants to buy them, but I don't throw. I don't know. Whatever.
A lot of people overlook using a spinning rod for jerkbaits, especially if there's some wind. So throwing a lighter jerkbait in the wind sucks unless you're really good at thumbing your bait caster or you got a really great setup for it. If you're in a windy, shitty day and you really want to rip that jerkbait, throw it on a spinning rod. Any 7 foot medium or even longer is great. What's that?
Can't backlash.
Yeah, and you can bomb the suckers in the wind.
Right. Well, that's with any crankbait too, not just a jerkbait. Any crankbait.
Yeah, no, good point.
I don't think enough people throw them on spinning reels. People want to act like Kevin Van Dam and all the pros and whatnot, and we got to have giant backbone and da 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 da.
Well, there's certain scenarios though when you're cranking deep, like if you're cranking 20 foot to deeper, you need a big long rod. You need you want heavier fluorocarbon to get that bait down. I mean, there are scenarios where the right system will get your bait down to where you need to get it. But for shallow cranking, yeah, you can do that. You can do that on a spinning rod. You don't need anything fancy.
I would say down to about 10 foot, you can use spinning gear and you'd be just fine.
I totally agree. I jerkbait a lot in the spring and in the fall. I typically put it down to summer, which everyone says don't do, and I do that. Like I don't think I've used my jerkbait rod in 2 months. Yeah. So I got a question. Let's bring this up real quick. So you talked about rods and stuff.
Yes.
You and I both finished our tournament season. So people are watching this. Doug and I fish in the same league. It's called Greenhorn Bass Tour. It's a Minnesota-based Twin Cities Bass League. It's pretty big. There's 6 divisions essentially inside the club, over 250 anglers. Doug fishes on a Sunday league. I fish on a Wednesday league, so our paths have not crossed. However, you just finished your very first bass season.
Correct.
So my question is, because a lot of the people watching this feed are gear nerds,
Yep.
what did you, out of your personal arsenal, did you find you liking the most? Like when you were on your tournaments or pre-fishing and you were like, I'm trying to win money, I'm taking this seriously.
Right.
What were some of the rods and reels that were like on your deck? And I'm like, I got confidence that this stuff won't, do me wrong.
Oh God. Well, I use a lot of the Bass X, both spinning.
Yeah, you're a St. Croix guy. Yeah.
Yep. Both spinning and bait casting. Daiwa reels for bait casters. That's basically it for bait casters. Daiwa Tatulas. Spinning reels, I've got Flugers, I've got Shimano's, I've got some Cadences.
Cadence? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, they're one of those internet companies.
Oh, the Chinesium? I like to call them Chinesium.
Yeah.
Because they come from like random Chinese factories that just relabel everything, even though it's got the same components as like 5 other reels. Like Pacific Sun and Casking, those kind of companies. Yeah. Well, I should say they're not a company. They're just like, they're anyway. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They're not horrible. They work.
Whatever we can afford.
I also use TFO rods. I've got some TFOs.
TFO rods. I've heard of them.
Temple Fork Outfitters. They're big into the fly
Temple
stuff.
Fork.
But I've been using their stuff during the walleye fishing for years, and I love them. I use a lot of the walleye rods. Spinning rods for fast stuff too. I mean, if it's a 7.2 medium fast, medium heavy fast action, it's a 7.2 medium heavy fast action. Big deal.
So the TFO,
yeah,
this is a brand I've not really dived into. Although I've had like Ben Novak, the guy who runs he's got a YouTube channel called the Smallmouth Experience. He's a TFO guy, and I keep seeing his rods. And so I mean, there's a couple of YouTubers that are running this stuff that I've kind of noticed. It looks like they have I think the highest thing in their line goes up to tactical.
$200. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a tactical line that's $200.
Yeah. If you're gonna go into the bass, go at least the tactical bass or the tactical elite.
Nice.
Tactical elite are, they're okay. But I use the tactical bass. I have 2 of them. That are the tactical bass, and I broke one. But the other one I used the drop shot rod, which I would absolutely love. But other than that,
is a tactical bass spinning rod?
Tactical bass spinning rod. Yep, and it is the.
So they got cork.
It's medium light. It's a 7.3 medium light. Although mine's not that long. Is it that long? Anyway, so it's the medium light. It's the silver handled one. And that's the one I use for drop shot, and it works out fantastic. But like I got a bunch of the GTS walleyes. I think they still call them that. I think. What do they call them now?
So you got into Temple Fork because you use them on your walleye fishing side, and you're like, oh, I'll try the bass rods out too.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Yep. But they make a really nice rod. I mean, they're a really good rod. So I got no complaints.
Where are they based out of? Oh, they're Texas.
Texas, yeah. They're more interested in fly fishing, but they dabble in the other stuff too.
There's so many rod companies. It's crazy. Like
that's the thing. Just find out what you like and screw off what everybody else says. I mean, that's how it is. Doesn't matter what anybody else uses. You can take their advice and check them out. But if you're comfortable using an $80 rod and reel and you have no problems with that, and that's what you love,
right?
Then use it.
Well, it's so easy to make a rod company nowadays. I mean, it's not easy to make a good rod company, but it's easy to make a rod company because you can source, Japanese Toray blanks in bulk, and then you can, grab Fuji components, and then you can slap a paint job on it and then call it your rod company. Right. So like, you don't have to do any design. You can be what's like, what do they call it in the car world? Cake decorators, where you're not actually fabbing the parts. You're just buying the parts and putting it together and then calling it your creation. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well,
I didn't build the motorcycle. I built the motorcycle, but I bought the frame, I bought the wheels, I bought the engine, I put it together. There's a difference between that and then like fabbing the frame and then like, that kind of stuff.
Well, the problem is that there's very few companies out there that actually make rod blanks.
Oh yeah, American companies that make rod blanks. There was a discussion about this recently.
St. Croix, I think.
Well, no, St. Croix, Loomis, Arc makes their own. Phoenix makes their own.
Does Phoenix make their own?
Yes, they roll their own blanks in California.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Phoenix does. North Fork Composites, obviously Loomis's new like Edge company or whatever. The rod. So Loomis's new like rod factory is North Fork Composites, and they supply rods to a bunch of companies. Like Kistler uses their rods, and they're American. And then Cashion. Is that right? Cashion. You know what I'm talking about?
There's like the rod makes the C in the logo.
Yeah, Cashion. Cashion's really like popular in the South, not so much up here in Minnesota.
Yep.
They make their own blanks. They do everything in house. I've actually been very tempted on occasion when they had sales to just grab one just to try it out.
Yeah.
John Cruz is like their big guy, the guy who runs Missile Baits.
Yeah, Cashion rods. Yep.
Cashion. I don't know how to pronounce it right.
Cashion.
I live in. So Jay Park says, yeah, Cashion rods are located here. So Jay, since you're local, have you bought their rods? Do you use them? Do you like them? I'm curious. They seem to have a really big following in the South. Up north, nobody. I've never been to a single bass tournament or a single event and seen anyone running a Cashion rod. So I don't have any like exposure to them other than seeing John Cruz fish them on YouTube and some of the other guys that are on their like pro staff.
I'm still here. I'm just trying to figure out this computer or this.
So Bass Force says Arc outsources their blanks. I thought Arc made them. Man, I guess I'm wrong. They're always on my mental list of short list of companies that make their own blanks.
I've never even heard of Arc. Who's Arc?
Arc. They make. So Arc Rods is a newish fishing rod company. They started making a splash, I want to say 3-4 years ago. They have a bunch of pros. I'm not surprised you haven't heard of them because they don't have like much market penetration up in the North Country here. Like none of the shops around here carry Arc, but they're out there. A lot of people say a couple of their like technique specific model rods are really good. Like they have this rod called the Toad. What the hell is it called? The Toadstool or something. Apparently they have a bomb ass frog rod.
Huh. Well, let's see here. Genesis features, Fuji guides, bibbidi bops. 150 bucks. Whatever. A lot of that stuff, dude, it doesn't matter to me. I don't give a shit as long as it holds your reel in place and your line goes through it.
Right.
150 bucks for their Genesis. That ain't horrible. Let's see.
Yeah, they have a pretty good following. People like to fit and finish. They have a lot of good reviews. I've never seen one in person. I'm typically one of those guys that once I see something in person and I hold it and I check it out, I get interested in it and then I start buying it or playing with it. Right. That's why the Northwest Sports Show, I hate when we had to cancel the Northwest Sports Show because that's the place where I go and get tactile and like I go to all the stores and look at all their stuff and play with it and like kind of feel out what's interesting. Because then you don't have to buy anything. You get all this crap in one building, in one room.
Are all their rods 150 bucks? So far, I've looked at 3 different series, and they're 150 bucks. Oh no! Okay, the reinforcers are 350. Never mind.
Are you looking at Cashion or are you looking at
Arc?
Oh yeah. Arc's got some like $300. They got some more expensive ones.
Yeah,
they have a high end.
Yeah. Oh, they got $100 series, Lancer series.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'll give one of them a shot or something. Who knows? That's the nice thing about not being a. I mean, I'm a St. Croix guy because I like their rods, but I'm not a St. Croix guy. I'm not on their squad, so I don't have to worry about it.
Pro staff?
No.
So what's interesting is I like St. Croix. I've been using St. Croix for years. Some of their rod lines are better than others. The Bass X is perfectly good for $100. They're a great rod. I mean, you get a lot of bang for your buck in the Bass X. The Mojos for a slightly higher step up are okay. I think the Mojos, I've owned some Mojos. They feel a little dead as far as like sensitivity. Their build quality is really nice. The fit and finish is nice. I've never been like blown away by the feel. The Avid X are really good because they have the micro guides. So the micro guides on Avid X's really make those things balance well because St. Croix is historically horseshit at balance. They've never been a really good balance company. They don't know how to balance their rods very well.
That's the one thing about the Bass X, depending on what
They're all tip heavy.
What kind of reel you have on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't quite balance out. You almost need a heavier reel to balance out, but it's one of those things I try if I don't think about it, I'm not worried about it.
So the funny thing is the St. Croix didn't get balance right until you go into their high-end rods. So when you go up into the Legend X and the Legend Elites, you can finally put lightweight reels and have them balance right. So the Legend Tournament bass rods are literally the most horribly balanced rod line ever made by man. Like, they're so bad. I think I've owned 7 rods in the Legend Tournament bass line, and I've sold them all because of their terrible balance. They're so tip heavy.
Interesting.
1 second here. I'm getting pinged. Yes.
Megabass P5 balance blew me away. Problem with these Megabass,
can't right now.
So expensive. God, I don't know what kind of, like we talked about earlier, I don't know what kind of cartels you guys are all working for, but are they hiring? We lost Brian.
I'm yelling at my kids who are hitting my door right now. 1 second.
Oh, knock it off, children. Dang kids. It's also absurd how light they are for having a counterweight. One thing on those Bass X's, I have heard of you putting those big butt stocks on them or whatever.
I know what you're talking about. Old man rubber things.
And actually throwing some weights in those, and that actually balances out and makes it feel lighter.
So he says the P5 balance blew me away. So Doug, you don't even know this, but the new Megabass line, the P5s, Megabass actually put weights in the butts.
Oh, okay.
And each rod has a different amount of grams they put into the butt to make them perfectly balanced. So it doesn't matter really which reel you put on it; it like sits perfectly.
Now, where is the balance point on a rod supposed to be? Right in the handle there?
Well, that's debatable. It depends on the kind of rod and where you put your hand. To me, right on a bait caster, a really good balance point is basically as close as you can get to the middle of the lock nut. So if you're locking it down from the top, if it's right at the front part of the lock nut, that's good. If it's slightly further down, that's amazing. Okay. But the further away from the lock nut you get the balance point, the worse it is.
On the actual lock nut part, like
I wish I had a rod here. They're all out in my boat. But so when you lock your rod down, and you just the further up the blank, the worse the balance is, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's this thing? Anybody know if that Phoenix feather?
I do not know. Phoenix are nice. They're nice and super light.
The Phoenix feathers, people love those things. They have a cult following. There's a lot of people who are into those things.
The boys at Vados absolutely love them. They keep trying to talk me into doing it, and I'm like, yeah, well, give me a huge discount on them, and I'll fish them. But
you don't want that 20%.
I'm just so cheap. I would much rather go buy more tackle than buy an expensive rod.
No, I hear you. Yeah, see, there's different strokes, different folks. I like putting money into rods because just think they're fun. And then, there's people who don't give a shit. They're just fine throwing whatever, and they just want the tool, tool for the job. But
I should just go buy a bunch of ugly sticks and call it a day.
No, ugly sticks are the worst thing on earth. Do not buy those. Ugly sticks are unbreakable because they're all glass. It's just a big glass stick.
Hey, good.
You can bend it. I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. It's absurd how light they are for having a counterweight. Yeah, it's weird. The Megabass P5 rods are they even have extra weight in the butt, and they're still lighter than the G Loomis NRXs, which is pretty astonishing. Have you heard about the Mad Bull? The Mad Bull is a big topwater rod. I know Doug's probably not too interested in this, but it's a big topwater rod. It's for throwing like Diamantes, Giant Dog X's, big 3-hook spooks. It's a big topwater rod.
Now hold on, you've got my attention because I started throwing that Knocker B around a little bit. And
Knocker B, what's that?
It's a Bagley Knocker B.
Bagley Knocker B.
Oh, bro, it's a big walking bait. Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
Super loud. Like it's got. I think it's got like one bearing in there.
It's on Tackle Warehouse.
Oh, it casts like a dream. And you can hear that thing clacking from the moment you start moving that bait on the water.
So they got a 4 1/4.
Super loud.
There's 2 reviews. Wow, this dude walks like a champ, and the rattle is awesome. Good bait. Definitely buy some with 0 punctuation. I love when when I read reviews, and there's just a stream of consciousness and no capitalization, no punctuation.
Yeah, they do not do fake reviews. I can tell you
that. On Tackle Warehouse, you can literally submit a review and just say your name and location.
That's on
There's no verification process on Tackle Warehouse reviews.
Never mind.
Great bait, easy to walk the dog. So I'm a big fan of walk the dog baits.
This is super easy. Literally,
you should hook me up with one. I'll try it out.
Just twitch your rod and it'll go one way. Twitch your rod.
Does it spit, or is it just a walker?
Pretty much just a walker. It might spit a little bit, but
okay,
because
I like, there's a Megabass makes one called Diamante, and it spits a lot. So it's a side to side, and it shoots out water. One second.
What are they doing? Messing with them? Oh, Jesus, it's the kids. Hey, kids, what's up? We've lost control of the show, folks. The Bagley, the Knocker Bee, it doesn't really spit water. It is just a true cigar style bait, pointy front end. So it is extremely, extremely easy to walk. I mean, just twitch it, it'll walk. Twitch it, it'll walk the other way. So that is no issues moving that thing. And like I said, it's super loud. You can bomb the thing out there 25, 30 yards, and you'll hear it start to clack as it walks. And it's super loud. And I caught a nice big 4-pounder on that thing. So what in the world?
My kids literally attacked me with a squirt gun.
Hey, no guns on YouTube.
Oh yeah, what do they call it? Freedom thrower or something like that.
You're gonna get demonetized now.
Yeah, you can't say the G word.
Yeah.
Where do they go? They call it freedom senders or something like that.
Freedom seed planter. Something like that. I don't know.
Pew pew.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't have like a cupped front end or nothing, so it's just a walker.
Yeah, you have to give me one if you got any kind of. You probably got a pile of them laying around, don't you?
I have 2.
Oh, you only have 2.
Yeah, I only had 2. I bought them. I get a discount on them, but whatever.
So this is a special one.
What's that one?
So I was talking about this on my feed. This is the kick knocker.
Did you break one of those?
Yeah. So this is the one but this has been out for a little while. So Doug, you're new to the bass nerd world, but for years there's a company called Reaction Innovations, and they used to make hard baits. Now they only make soft baits, but there was a period where they made like frogs and topwater and all sorts of stuff. They made a bait called the Vixen, and it was a coveted walking bait in the bass fishing world. It's a great bait. The Vixens are like, if you have an original Vixen, they go for like 20, 30, 60 bucks on eBay right now. Wow. Anyway, they discontinued, they stopped making hard baits, and they went all in on soft baits. Teckle, a year or 2 ago, bought the molds from Reaction Innovations. Oh. They are using the same plastic, so they basically rebrooded the Vixen and brought it back to the market, but they call it the Kick Knocker. So they changed the name.
Kick Knocker. Nice.
So a lot of people are like, "Oh, the Vixen's back." If you put this next to a real Vixen, they're like indistinguishable.
Really?
These things have really, really good long sweeping walks. And they call it a kick knocker because at every turn, so when it walks, it goes clack, clack, clack. So every time it pivots, it makes a snap sound, like clack, clack. It's really cool.
I can't be on what dial? Okay, so I can't go on the internet apparently. Okay, so I gotta use my phone. All right, whatever.
So these are good baits. This particular color is an exclusive color from Hookup Tackle. It's called White Walker. It's got a really cool Ben and the Hookup Tackle guys did a really awesome job on this thing. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Well, the White Walkers were these like bad guys in Game of Thrones, and they put a hologram eye on this thing. Look at it's a legit little hologram. It's supposed to look like it's dead, like a zombie.
You're gonna see that eye?
I don't care. I do, and it's cool.
Once again, do they catch fish or do they catch fishermen?
Both.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know my favorite thing about Teckle is their packaging. You got to see the back. You got to see the back of this. Look at the back of this. Can you read it?
42. Kiss, release, do not miss. That's awesome.
Do not mistreat bass. Catch, kiss, and release.
That's funny.
On the back of their packaging.
So do they have their own website or what's going on?
Teckel. I think you can get the Kick Knockers on Tackle Warehouse.
Well, yeah,
I know
but
they do.
I want to find their website. Is it
I don't.
just under Tackle Warehouse? They don't have their own website?
That's a really good question. I've never looked at it.
I don't know.
I don't know if they do.
I can't find them. Maybe they
No,
just the companies.
it
Well,
looks
that's
like they
dumb.
do not.
That's dumb.
That is weird. Why don't they have? Why doesn't Teco have a website?
I don't know. They got a Facebook page. Tackle Lure.
Kickknocker
Let's
is
see. Let's see
legit.
here. Oh, TackleLure.com. Okay, hold on.
But yeah, so the Vixen is back. If you're Vixen fans, pick up a Kickknocker. It's the same damn thing.
So that is a good bait though? Pretty good bait?
Yes. I was throwing it at the Lahamadou chain last weekend, and it was getting bites.
Okay.
It makes big, long, sweeping S's, and it goes clack, clack, clack. What's cool about the Kickknocker or the Vixen is it doesn't spit. It has zero spit. It just literally does a side-to-side gliding.
Mm-hmm.
Really smooth.
Okay, yeah. So Tackle is like a straight up like I can't read anything on their website, Japanese or Chinese or something.
Are they imported?
They must be.
Yeah, must be.
Yeah, their website, TackleLure.com, is like straight up like, yeah.
Because Teckle made a splash in the U.S. with their Teckle frogs last year, and they're kind of bringing more stuff in.
Yeah, frogs
absolutely.
Kind
the frogs are interesting. They got that tail that plops like a whopper plopper, but it's a frog. Let's see. I absolutely love the new Metanium XG on the 7.2 heavy Adrena for frogging, easy on your wrist. That's the hardest thing is to find a frog rod that doesn't blow your wrist up after 40 minutes of frogging. That's like the toughest thing in fishing is finding a frog rod that doesn't just melt your arm.
St. Croix Bass X 7.4.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That thing is that's like I had a 7. They're heavy, man. I had a 7.4 Avid X and I had a 7.4 Legend Tournament Bass, and both of those things were a little too much for my shoulder.
You are such a wuss.
Let's see. Rio Rico Popper. How, when, and where? What does that mean? How?
Where? Yeah. How do you fish them, and where do you fish them, and when do you
Poppers? Poppers are a bait you can throw all day if it's overcast. Mm-hmm. If it's sunny, you typically have to target shade. So if you're on docks, throw the shady side with your poppers. Typically, bass won't come out to grab a popper unless they're like schooled and in some grass, and then they see it up top. I use poppers first thing in the morning. It's a really great early morning bite while the sun's low. It's usually one of those baits where you hit a point first thing in the morning, hit a flat, hit some docks right when the sun's coming up is the best time to throw a popper. Right at dusk. During the day, though, you don't have to put it away. Just target shade lines. Shade lines, grass edges, pontoons, man. For some reason, throwing a popper around a pontoon in the summer is a great way to pull them out sometimes, especially if there's shade shooting off to one side of the pontoon. Poppers can be aces.
I still haven't thrown a popper this year.
Oh, God. I love poppers. I have a sick obsession with poppers.
Do you want that Mega Bass back? It's unused.
No, you throw it. Throw it, dude. That should be a morning bait. When you get first thing out on the water and you know a fishy spot, just go throw the popper on right at breakfast. I heard the Mega Bass Mad Bull rod and a Steez at CT SV. Wow, this guy dropped some money. That's a 400. That's a $850 combo.
Do you need a maid around your house? Because I'll come clean. Just pay me in tackle and beer.
What lures and line would you recommend? Well, first off, on the Mad Bull, pick up Kickknockers because that'll be a great bait. So on the Mad Bull, that's any big spook style bait like what Doug was talking about, the Bagley Knockerbee, your Kickknocker, your Diamante, your Giant Dog X. You can throw any big top water, big whopper plopper. You can probably throw pretty well with a Mad Bull.
What's the power, action, and stuff on that Mad Bull? I mean, is it just?
I gotta look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Is it just a big heavy bastard? No,
it's not. Oh. It's a F5 so in the Mega Bass Power, a 5 is like a medium heavy.
Oh, okay.
So it's in between a medium heavy and a heavy typically.
So you can throw frogs on it too, then.
Supposedly the Mad Bull can throw cranks. So I don't know. I'm not a Mad Bull expert. I don't own one. I just know what I've read. So don't listen to me.
Probably
buzz baits on a Mad Bull. Like I said, buzz baits don't require that. All a buzzbait requires, in my opinion, is a 7.1 to 7.3, like just your longest 7-foot rod and a medium heavy. Whatever action or whatever rod brand, just a longer medium heavy is really all you need to throw a buzzbait. It's not that complicated. Let's see, buzzbaits on a Mad Bull. Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't give it a whirl.
Try it, see how it feels. That's the one thing is that I think a lot of people try to get so specific on rod to baits and whatnot that they overlook.
Oh God, yeah, you kidding me?
They overlook the fact that, hey, just go throw it on this rod and reel setup and see how it feels.
Oh yeah, I know. People, because we all do this thing where we think about what we want to do before we do it, and we think about it endlessly without actually going and throwing it and doing it.
Yeah.
So have you heard of these guys? I'm gonna throw this up real quick. So what do you think of the Felissa? I don't have that rod yet. It's actually coming to my house tomorrow. So
the hell's a Felissa?
It's a 7.6 medium light megabass rod for throwing hair jigs and light stuff. I could probably use it walleye fishing.
It's a crappie.
Exactly. Could be a very good crappie rod. So these guys, I got turned on to these on Instagram a little while ago. Venture Lures. Omnia just started stocking these. I was actually going to order these guys because they were only available in Tackle Warehouse. Like if you go to Venture Lures, they don't sell direct. You have to
pick them up a little higher there.
Oh, Venture.
You just got that banner on the bottom of the screen. So back them up and pull them up higher. There we go. Are those the ones with like a notch in them?
No. Well, maybe they do. But I'm a smallmouth guy, so I got excited because I saw this. This is like this cool.
Yeah, they got that little notch in the back half there, on the bottom side. It's kind of just a little bump up in the.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right where your thumb is there, yeah.
Yeah, there's a notch.
Yeah,
oh,
I can't remember if that's just for
what I'm talking about,
or if that's actually got a purpose. I don't know.
So this is a little. These are small. This is like under 3 inches. This is like a 2 3/4 little perch imitator. What I like is they made the tail chartreuse, so you don't have to dye it. Like I don't have to dip this tail or anything. It's already chartreuse. But what's interesting, if you look at the video on these things, you have to work them fast. These aren't one of those like slow roll, like an impulse minnow or like a Kitech where you fish it super slow. You're actually supposed to like burn the sucker in. It has more action if you have like a just continuous straight retrieve. So I'm kind of excited to try the Venture Lure swim bait when I get back into smallmouth country soon.
And that's the steady swimmer, right?
Yeah, this is the 2 1/4 steady swimmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so, I did get some of these, and I'm looking at the colors. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I ordered. I like really just this particular color looked gorgeous because it's got like right? Yeah, so it's got perch stripes kind of. Yeah. There's like little dark stripes in there.
Yep. That's good looking bait. I like that. Really bait. That's the Gobi Plus? Is that what that one's called? No, wait. What color is this one? This one's got like an orange belly to it. I don't know what the hell color.
I'm letting you tackle this question. What's your favorite walleye rod? I know what you're gonna say. What type of rig or bait are you throwing?
Bingo. What do you? Yeah, I mean.
So James, you got a walleye guy. You got a walleye expert here. So yes, this is a great question.
Yeah. What are
your favorite rigs, baits?
What's your presentation? I mean, that's probably number one.
Wait, let me throw the walleye presentations that I know about. Are you bottom bouncing? Are you snap jigging?
That a boy.
Are you Lindy rigging? Are you dragging? Are you planer boarding? Are you trolling? Are you lead coring?
Yeah.
What am I missing?
Oh, dude, there's so many different damn things. It's ridiculous.
Great.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous. Live bait. Live bait rigging.
Live bait. Are you rigging it? Are you dragging it? Are you throwing it on a jig head?
Well, if you're live bait rigging like Lindy rigging, something along anywhere from 6.5 to 7 foot long, medium to medium light, something with a nice soft tip. That way you can feel that bait, especially if you're using minnows, you can feel that bait. So, it's not live bait rigging. It's not, people want to go, oh my God, the sensitivity. I mean, the bait's in your rod, the bait's in the rod's in your hand, you're dragging it. Don't
you typically have your finger on the line?
Typically, yeah. So you're gonna feel it, but somewhere that's 6.5 to 7 foot long, medium light, stuff like that. It's not I mean, it's people way overthink it.
Yeah, sensitivity isn't that important because you're literally
You're feeling
feeling it with your finger. Like all the live bait guys I've seen, they almost will flip the bail sometimes, and
the bail's
the bail's open and your finger's literally on the line, hoping you feel fish start taking
you're about to cast a wacky rig under a dock, but you're not casting, you're just holding it. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, I've used heavier rods, I've used lighter rods, shorter rods, longer rods. It's more or less just you connected to that line and you're feeling the bait behind you. So don't overthink it. Walleye rod, don't overthink it. And when it comes to trolling rods, go buy Cabela's Depth Masters and do not buy anything else. They're like $40. You do not need anything else. Do not buy, seriously. Trolling, all it is a line holder.
Right.
That's it.
They're super parabolic. They just bend right over.
That's it. You do not need a lightweight rod and you do not need a sensitive rod. You need an 8-foot parabolic bend, just a trolling rod. So go buy a Cabela's Depth Master, about 8 foot long, and you're perfect to go. 7
you can message
medium light, fast action, perfect. Yeah, Kishler.
James, reach out to Alan Kishler here. He's a walleye rod builder, and he'll make you a kick-ass live bait rig rod if you want the real deal. Look him up on Facebook.
He makes an awesome live bait rig and rod. So
I know you got the guy right there.
Yep, he doesn't make the rods. He actually fishes in the AIM Weekend Walleye Series. Plus, he's really good at it, so he knows more about it than I do. So I'm a hack. I just fake.
We're all hacks.
I just fake my way.
I'm a hack.
Right?
I'm a hack.
Sure. We know that.
We all every day we're always reminded about how much we don't know about fishing.
Exactly. Like when you go to a brand new lake and you catch one fish during a tournament. Not that I would know this.
Yeah, you want to talk about? So here, okay. I'm throwing up you guys. So if you guys don't know, if you haven't never seen Doug before, he's got two really great podcasts. He's got SmackDown Outdoors, which is like a free form podcast. Sometimes they go long. He's got a wide range of guests that revolve around hunting, fishing, outdoors. So it's not all fishing content. If you want to learn about hunting or other outdoorsy kind of stuff, check out his podcast. And then he also has another one. I don't have the link up here real quick.
Make Fish Famous.
Yes.
Yep.
He's also got one called Make Fish Famous, which is a technique and presentation specific podcast. It's more of a learning podcast instead of like a bullshitting podcast.
Yeah, like I just released an episode with Mark Romanek about trolling for walleyes. We go over the basics of trolling, gear, techniques, blah 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 blah. Really, really good episode. So if you don't know who Mark Romanek is, check out Fishing 411 TV and then come watch the show. So
good.
Listen.
Best craw debate. Okay, so I have thoughts on craw baits. Do you throw? I mean, for jig trailers, Texas rigs, swing heads. I mean, what are your go-to craw plastics?
Well, of course, we got the craw tubes. We learned about that.
I don't count that as a craw bait, though.
No,
that's more of a tube. That's a tube. Okay. Well, it's a tube with arms. Yeah. To me, it's just a flipping tube. I'm talking like a craw imitator. Yeah.
Big bite baits, the Yo Mama.
Yo Mama. Yep. That's a popular one.
Bait. Otherwise, if you go any smaller than that, really just Strike King, what you call it, Rage Tail, just the little skinny bodied Rage Tail.
Oh, the Rage Menace, the Menace grub, or the Rage Craw with the big flappy craws.
Let me see here.
Well, because there's a Rage Menace, which is like the smaller grub with the two littler arms, and then you got the Rage Craw, which is like got the big flappy tentacles.
Hold on a second. Let me see. Rage Tail.
Victor, I will get to your question.
I'm horrible.
In a minute.
Just the Rage Craw. Yeah, it's just the Rage Craw. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Rage Craw.
I'm horrible at names when it comes to baits, unless I've been
I know.
For years.
There's so many. So the Rage Craw to me is a really good chatterbait trailer. It's a good swim jig trailer. It's a good when you're moving the bait because the arms are huge. They flap, they move. I don't particularly like the Rage Craw as a jig trailer because if you've ever thrown a jig, like go in some shallow water, throw a jig down on the bottom and just let it sit there with a Rage Craw on the back. You know what the arms do? They go like this. And they just fold in on each other like it's putting its hands pockets.
Yeah.
It's just like and just sits there.
Yeah.
So to me, the Rage Menace, the grub, that's a better jig trailer because that doesn't have big, heavy tentacles. And when you're popping it along on a jig, those arms stay up a little more. So I typically use a Rage Menace as a jig trailer, but I use a Rage Craw as a swim jig, chatterbait, moving bait trailer.
I mean, 99% of the time, if I'm throwing a jig, it's got a beaver style bait on there. The Yo
Right.
Mama.
Beaver's, yep, Beaver's good. Now
this next year, I'm going to be expanding that to different companies. I'm gonna try. I want to try Z-Man's. I want to try X Zone. I think they have a couple I wanted to try.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm going to be trying some different things, mainly because the whole buoyancy thing. You throw a jig down there, and everything falls to the bottom. Well, if all of a sudden you get that buoyancy in those craws, those craws or whatever.
So I want to give a shout
out.
Yeah, because you brought it up. The Muscleback Finesse Craw is a craw I've been using for 3 seasons now, long before Brandon Polnick got signed to these guys. But this Muscleback Craw is awesome. It's a great do everything craw. Like you can literally just have this craw in your boat, and you can throw it on a Ned rig.
Yeah.
You can throw it on a jig trailer. You can throw it on a football jig trailer. You can throw it on a finesse jig trailer. You can flip with it. It's great on a swing head. It's like literally if you just had to pack one craw to do like everything, the 3 1/4, not the bigger one, the regular finesse Muscleback craw is fantastic. I've been running this as my primary craw now for 3 seasons. I still have Rage Menace, and the arms go up. They literally, like, you let that bait sit still and the arms just slowly rise up. They're all buoyant. So I gotta really give a big shout out to the Muscleback Finesse. Omnia just carrying those now, so you can use the discount code at Omnia. Yeah. X Zone also has their own discount codes. I have a couple I can give you, Ben, Doug, if you want. I don't know why I said Ben. That was weird.
I don't know. This whole podcast is weird. By the way, I'm half drunk, so it's all good.
I've only had 2 beers because if I drink more, I'm just gonna have to go like immediately.
I've been working on it since 3:00 this afternoon. So we're
nice. All right, but the Muscleback craws are great. I stick to the Okeechobee craw, the green pumpkin, and then just the black and blue or black red. That's the only colors I throw.
Yeah,
that Okeechobee is really sweet. I like that because you can flip it either way. If you want the green pumpkin, you turn it on the green pumpkin side. If you want the blue, you turn it over. So it's like 2 colors in one. It's a great craw. Now the OSP Do Live is supposed to be really, really good. Problem is
Do Live. What the
OSP is a Japanese plastic company, and they have a major following. I actually have some OSP baits right here. I have the Do Live stick right here. So I have some OSP. The Do Live craw. Look this up. Hookup has it, of course. They sell a ton of them.
Okay. Well, I'm looking up a color. I want to tell everybody about, because at this point it's in the, if you go to bigbitebaits.com, the Yo Mama, and the color is called, what the hell is it called? I can never remember. Husashi. I think that's the color to make
Big Bite
Baits Husashi. Yes, it's that one right there.
Oh, it's like a brown. Is it like a brown watermelon?
It's more gold. There's a bunch of gold flake in there. Yeah, it's kind of a, there we go. It's the one that I was using when we were fishing together. That one right there. There's a couple lakes in Minnesota where if you don't have that one, good luck.
Interesting. I'll drop the link in the chat.
Yeah. But anyway, OSP Do Live Craw.
So yeah, this is for people who are in the JDM tackle, this is kind of like a go-to craw.
Do Live Craw. There we go. Oh, well, that's futuristic looking.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Pretty much looks like a craw.
Yeah, it looks like a heavy metal Slayer craw. Yeah. It looks like a craw. Looks like a craw that would win in a heavy metal battle of the bands.
For real. Now, is it weird that, like, when I look at fishing baits, like, the more realistic it looks, the less I think it'll catch fish?
Yeah, no point. No, that's a good point.
It makes no sense at all. Like, I should be using these because they look like a crawfish, but I'm like, it looks too much like a crawfish.
The thing that turns me off on these is the $10 price. You get $10. Yeah, they're expensive. Well, in the 3-inch or 4-inch, you're getting 6 or 7 in a pack.
Ooh, really?
That's an expensive craw.
Yeah.
All OSP stuff is kind of spendy.
Although we buy Yamamoto's, like we don't care. So
good point.
And there's $10 a pack for 8 of them.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the whip snake? So I was going to talk real quick. I have a whip snake. I'm going to do a full-on crazy drop shot rod video where I'm going to talk about like a bunch of the different favorite drop shot rods out there. Because Doug, what I've learned kind of is like drop shot rods come in essentially two flavors. Like when you're buying a drop shot specific rod, one is a rod for fishing vertically, like right on the front of your boat. Those rods are typically like 6'10". They're really bendy and parabolic. And then there's the other kind of drop shot rod where people want to cast out, like make a cast, and then do the lift drop shot technique where you're not throwing it out there and just shaking it. You're literally just lifting, pulling it back to you slow, and then just slow. That's the way, if you fish robo worms, that's like the best way to fish a robo worm is to do nothing, because robo worms have their own action and like they're a do nothing. So a lot of people make a mistake of casting it out, let it hit the bottom, and then you shake the rod.
See, that's how I was catching them on white bear with the robo.
Well, it depends on the bait you're throwing. It depends on the bait.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people fish robos, and robos are best to like not put a lot of action on it because they do their own thing.
Yeah.
But like the casting and like pulling back, that kind of drop shot rod is a little longer and a little faster.
Right.
So like you'll find drop shot rods that are like 7 to 7.1, and then they don't have that super bendy like tip. They have more of a faster tip. So it depends on the style of drop shotting you like doing.
Well, that's just like any bait, really. You know, I mean, it's and a lot of it too is how you're casting and how you want to feel the bait.
Well, because some guys who drop shot, and the way they fish drop shot is literally they pull up, they have their sonar pointed down, they see a fish, they drop on a fish, they catch a fish.
Right.
That's a different, like a really short, whippy, bendy rod is great for that. Like the GL or like the NRX 822 DSR. The whip snake is a rod that does good at that kind of stuff. But like if you're using a longer rod for drop shotting, it lets you kind of throw that bait out further and kind of handle the bait away from the boat a little bit.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm going to do because shopping for a drop shot rod is so freaking confusing. Like when you want to actually have a technique, I want just for drop shot, it's tough to find like what you're looking for.
Well, shopping for any rod and reel is confusing because you're not tying up a bait in the store and casting it 20 foot of water with and all this stuff and fuel rock. So it's you're kind of winging a prayer every time you buy something. Hopefully it fits something in your arsenal.
Yeah, you're basically reading reviews, we're looking at specs, and then trying to find some content about it. Like, did anyone talk about this on a forum or was there mention on Facebook? That's literally the reason I started my channel, was because I was like, I wasn't finding any in-depth like reviews or information for people who actually used any of the shit. It was always, I unboxed this thing, or this is my first time, I just took it out of the package, or the worst place to get information about rods is from the rod manufacturers.
Oh, it's horrible because
it's the worst.
They don't have any good information there for you.
Well, no, they just want you to buy it.
Yeah, they don't care.
So according to them, it's like the best thing they've ever produced. It's the lightest, it's the cheapest, it's got the most sensitivity. Like I never ever learn anything from watching product videos from even like St. Croix. It's like when St. Croix dropped their new $600 Legend Elites. Their marketing was it's rod sonar.
Wait, what?
It's sonar under the water.
Oh, please.
It's rod sonar. That was their marketing angle. Like they literally had videos where it's like sonar in your hand.
Oh God.
Like that was their videos. I'm like, that doesn't tell me shit about your product.
I know.
Anyway, it drove me nuts.
Yeah, they don't care. Yum dinger. Yep.
100 bulk pack of Yum Dingers is great for casual fishing. I only pull out the Yamamoto if I know there's a trophy fish around and run the struggle bus. A lot of people like Yum Dingers, man. They got a cult following there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
They
my,
work, man. That's basically my first stick baits that I was using was Yum Dingers.
my
They
only
work.
they do work. My only complaint is how slow they sink. They're slow sinker.
Yes, they are. So if you're fishing any more than about 2 foot of water,
You need to use a weighted
yeah,
wacky hook. You need
yeah.
to give a little weight. Like if you're
Or
fishing
just,
at weightless, it's
yeah.
a long wait for it to dive.
Well, I liked Texas rigging them more than I like wacky rig. Texas rig, they seem to fall faster. So,
Well, yeah, because the Texas rig hook weighs more than a
you
wacky
know,
hook, so it's going to pull it down. Yeah, it makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I know. It was funny, Doug. Is the last tournament I was on Forest Lake a couple days ago, and we had a 3.5 hour tournament Wednesday nighter. Um, nasty storm rolled in right at blast off. So as we're blasting off, there's a wall cloud coming right at us, and so we stayed out on the water because we're all idiots. And storm went through. It rained pretty good. There was a little lightning. Wind was not that bad. It was out of the storms I've been out and fishing. It was out of 1 out of 10. It was maybe like a 5. It wasn't that bad. So, anyway, it cut down on fishing time. We didn't have that much fishing time. So a lot of guys in the tournament tucked closer to shore during the storm, and they were just like, screw it. Let's just throw some some weightless Texas Senkos around docks.
Yeah.
And then me, I'm like, oh, I want to hit my offshore spots now that the storm's over.
Yeah.
So I go to my offshore spots. We start throwing a jig worm. We start throwing a drop shot. We're getting bites. We put together 5 fish. We called one time. We go in and we're like, we probably got about 11, 12 pounds. Which we wanted to we weren't necessarily trying to win the tournament. We just wanted to place higher than 2 other teams so we could get team of the year.
Yeah.
So we're playing more like we just need a decent bag for the points versus like we didn't need a check per se. So we roll in and we end up weighing in like 11.9, and there's a 16-pound and 2 13-pound bags, and they all caught them. Texas rigging, wacky or Senko around docks, all of them. They were like, oh yeah, dockfish on a Texas Senko.
You know what's funny?
The storm pushed them up on the shore, and that's just what they fished.
I don't even fish stick baits much, just Texas rigged, weightless Texas rigged anymore. It's so weird. It's like, nah, I'll just wacky rig it or Nico rig it. Like,
yeah, I know. The Texas rig is because the thing about Forest is the water is very shallow right now because the lake is down.
Yep.
And so the grass gets into the docks, and it's right there. So when you throw into the dock, like there's no room between the grass and the water surface. So a lot of them are Texas rigging so that they can just get it through clean.
Yeah.
Right. So it makes a splash. The fish get interested. It kind of sinks down the grass. They pop it a few times so they get bit. So like, if you're doing that technique on a wacky, it would like got hung up right.
Oh yeah.
When it goes into the water, like, it's just grass immediately.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a little like, what was funny is I boiled a bunch of Senkos because I'm like, we might end up throwing Senkos around in the Forest tournament. And then they just sat in the boat. I didn't even touch them. Nope. Nothing. That was dumb.
Yeah. It always happens that way when you're like, okay, I got this tied up and that tied up and this tied up and that tied up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
have the frog rod tied up, and then the guy comes in and he won the tournament throwing a frog, and you're like,
I knew it.
I kind of.
Yeah.
Do you still use a Tatula spinning rod? So I did a review a while back on a Tatula spinning rod. This is funny. So I do like a bunch of high-end rod reviews, and then I just did a quick review on a Tatula rod, which is like $130 rod, and that has a shit ton of views. Like people love that review, and like I'm like, oh, maybe I need to like do some cheaper rods. My Tatula is my winter rod.
Winter rod.
So when we go to the river and we fish the river, getting up and down the bank. Have you done that before?
Oh, dude, that's I smash smallies there with clacking wraps. Just clacking wraps. That's all you need.
But the thing is, like, where we park by the graveyard.
Yeah, you can't go there anymore.
What?
I heard it was closed.
The graveyard's closed?
Mm-hmm. You can't fish there anymore.
How? Well, they just had a little parking lot in the back.
But I think they don't. You can't park there to fish anymore, from what I heard. So,
I guess we'll find out. I mean, there's other places to go.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is, when you park there, there's a long hill you have to go down.
Yeah, you're climbing down like friggin', Rocky Mountain climbers and shit.
Right. So I like the Tatula because if I fall on my ass climbing down a snowy bank to fish the river in December, that rod can take a beating, and if I break it or something happens to it, I'm not like crying. So that's my I use that rod typically as either I have an extra rod for people to use on my boat, or I leave that thing rigged up all winter to go out and smallie fish on the river. So yeah, I still have it. What does boiling Senkos do? So that's a what do you think it does? It makes them soft. So have you tried doing that yet?
No, I know you told me about it, and I haven't done it.
It's really simple. Pros have been doing this for years. You just get a pot, boil some water, drop a bag of Senkos in, let them sit for 8 seconds. It does not take long. Don't let them sit in there for longer than like 10, 11 seconds. And you scoop them out, throw them on a paper towel, dry them out, and they are extremely softer. Like they're way more bouncy and they have more action. So pros have been boiling Senkos for years, and it used to be one of those like don't talk about it secrets, but everybody knows about it. So when I have a tournament bag of Senkos I literally have a bag that says boiled. So I keep those in the boat just for special occasions where I know I'm going to get under that dock and I really want a lot of action.
Yep. I should probably do this with some of those Northland ones I got because they're a little stiffer.
Yes, it will. That works great too. Another trick is say you have like a bag of flukes or something that's been in the bag a long time and the plastics get kinked. Boiling them will straighten them right out immediately. They'll go right back to their natural resting shape.
Yeah, it's like a mouth guard when you do it, like a football mouth guard or whatever. It just softens it up.
Yep. Bingo. Yep. So if you got a whole pack of, because like sometimes I'll have a pack of like flukes that have been shoved under something for a year. I take them out and they're like bent like this. I just throw them in a boiling water and then they're back to normal. Or even you buy packages of plastics, like say they ship you a plastic package and they're all kinked.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Boiling trick fixes them. Boil my hoods. Do you know what that means? Do you know what a hood is?
What the hell's a hood?
Huddleston. They're really expensive, big swim baits.
Oh.
They're like these trout style swim baits that are like, $30 to $100 depending on what kind of Huddleston you want. They're the big bass hunting big swim baits that everyone loves.
Gotcha.
I browse a fishing gear subreddit and it's constantly asking about rods and reels, $50 and less. Yeah, I mean that's a really competitive price point right now. It's so hard if you're shopping for a rod for under $150. You have like basically options in every single manufacturer. Like I don't know how you decide. Like Shimano's got them, Daiwa's got them, every rod and reel company's got them. It's like everyone's super competitive in that like $90 to $150 space right now. It's a nightmare to shop for one.
Yeah, it's pretty much just go out, buy one, see if you like it, and if you don't, sell it to your buddy for a little bit of a discount, and then go buy another one. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, I know.
It sucks, yeah.
But there's some staples that are always a good buy. Like St. Croix stuff's always a good buy. Shimano, Zodius, or even the Corrado series is a good buy at that price point. Daiwa's killing it in the budget rods. The Iridex are really great for under $100. The Tatulas are under 150. So you really can't go wrong with Daiwa, Shimano, St. Croix. I would definitely stay away from the G Loomis, the E6X or whatever, the green ones. Don't buy those. They break.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough out there to shop in that price point. It is really hard. Favorite jig rod? What rod do you throw a jig on?
Basically,
let's specify a 3/8 to like 5/8, like just your middle of the road.
7.2 medium heavy fast action.
There you go. Like Bass X.
Yeah, the Bass X. It might be a 7.1 medium heavy fast.
Right. What line do you throw?
30-pound Power Pro.
Braid?
Yeah.
Do you go to a leader?
Sometimes if it's clear, I'll throw a couple foot of leader on there, but
right.
If it's any sort of dirty stained water, just straight braid.
Straight braid. Maybe hit it with a Sharpie. Like that's what I do sometimes.
Well,
I just take a black Sharpie and
I've been trying to switch over to just the black anyway. So
even the black Power Pro fades because they're all dyed. It's all dyed. All those lines are dyed, so the paint's gonna fade at some point.
I figure if I'm throwing a jig, it's typically in the shit and I'm fishing it fast. I don't give them a chance to look at the line anyway. So
for 3/8, I throw almost exclusively the Legend X 7-1 medium. I love that rod for 3/8 for lighter jigs because it skips. Senko's really use that rod a little bit when you're fishing with me. So I like that Legend X for 3/8, but when I go to a half or 3/4, no, sorry, if I go to a half or 5/8, I throw the 7.2 medium heavy X Bride is awesome. I throw the NRX 873 is a good jig rod in the half. There's so many rods you can do with it. X-Bites is good. The Perfect Pitch is awesome. Perfect Pitch is a killer jig rod from 3/8 to 5/8. It does everything. It depends on kind of the line. Like,
if people want like, it's kind of a sleeper rod and reel setup, and I want it. And it's a combo. Is the Fuego, the Daiwa Fuego?
Oh yeah, Fuegos, man. People love Fuegos.
It's a combo. It's like $160 for both.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I actually love it. It's like 6.5 foot long. I think it's a medium heavy, maybe. I don't even know. But I won the thing. I threw some braid on it, started flipping it with a jig, flipping a jig around with it. And I absolutely love it. It's got great feel.
Yeah. I mean, the Fuegos are a good balance. Good.
Yeah. And it's cheap. I mean, the combo is like $160 or something. It's stupid.
The Fuego LT spinning reel is really nice. The only difference between the Fuego LT spinning reel and the Daiwa Tatula spinning reel is the frame is not as rigid. So I had a Fuego LT spinning reel, and when you catch a fish and you're fighting it, you can feel the reel like move because the handle flexes. It goes. So. The Fuego stuff is great for a budget line.
Yeah, I mean it's super cheap for a combo. I was like, oh, this is gonna suck, and then I'm like, oh god,
I would highly
good.
I would much rather buy one of those, like a Fuego combo, versus like a Luz Mach combo or one of those things. Like, yeah, just go with the Daiwa if you're gonna go with one of those like combo deals. Favorite Senko rod? Now, if we're talking wacky Senko, any 7-foot medium power spinning rod is fine. Whatever you got, it doesn't matter. You don't have to get fancy with Senko rods. Now, Texas rigging a Senko on a bait caster, any medium heavy really is fine. I use a Megabass Deimos I use this X Pride 7.2 medium heavy for Texas rig Senkoing. Wacky Senkoing, I'm mostly throwing on the Conquest. I throw it the NRX 872S, the X Pride, just any spinning rod. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
I mean, the closest I can get to a 7-ish foot rod, baitcaster or spinning,
right?
Medium-ish
is good. Yeah.
I mean, it's just if I can keep everything close to that 7-foot medium heavy fast action rod that I can, all my stuff. That way, if one rod goes down, I can pick up another one and tie it on.
Exactly. Yep. Having multiples is good.
Yeah. So, getting so specific. A lot of times I think, people try to get too specific when you could really just use anything.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's two schools of thought. Yeah. To me, I go
You're bored, so you get into
No, I'm not bored. It's just that
you overthink it.
No, I don't. I actually think I wouldn't say I overthink it. I go I try to have the best tool for the job, right? So so the thing about Megabass rods is they typically are good at 2 or 3 techniques. Like they're not just one thing. They usually are like good at 2 or 3 things. But I'm a very big proponent of put money and quality into your best and favorite techniques. The rest of it, you don't have to spend as much. So like if you're really into flipping and you flip a lot, your flipping rod should be the best you can do. Like whatever's your comfort for price and equipment, but treat yourself on your techniques that you can fish well, because those tools are going to make you better at it. Like you're going to have better balance, you're going to have better sensitivity, you're going to have more confidence, you're going to enjoy it more, because most of the time when we're fishing, we're not catching shit. So
about 99% of the time. So I mean, you catch a dozen fish while you've been out there all day.
Right. So if you really love flipping and you're going to flip all day in a tournament, at least have good equipment doing that one technique that you're doing it all day. You're gonna like it when you're not catching fish, because man, this rod is so light. I'll just flip all day even though I'm not catching anything. So my thing is, you don't spend the farm on 7 rods. Treat yourself on one, of your favorite technique. If you're just like, I'm a great cranker, I'm just gonna get a great cranker rod, or I'm a really good at frog, I'm gonna get a frog rod. Like, start there. I think
Yep.
I can also say finesse is something you shouldn't skimp on, because finesse is something where sensitivity really does make a difference.
Right.
Like throwing light baits, Ned rigs, drop shots, shaky heads, stuff that's small, lighter on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That is where I think if you're gonna drop a few extra bucks, especially in the reel department and the rod department, like finesse, I would rather have an expensive spinning rod than an expensive bait casting rod, personally, because I think your money is more useful in finesse applications.
I'd go the other way.
Interesting.
I go the other way. And this is coming from a guy that was, catching 6, 7, 8, 9-pound walleyes on a Shimano Sienna.
Good point. The walleye guys use junk reels for the most part.
Right. We're pulling in almost double-digit fish on a regular basis. So, in my opinion, spinning reels way overrated. You can use anything.
That's a good point. Yeah, definitely good. Yeah, no, 100%.
I've had Stratics, and then everything in between a Stratic and a Sienna from multiple different companies. Mm-hmm. And guess what? It doesn't matter.
When you move up into higher end spinning reels, you're getting 3 things essentially. You're getting strength of drag and smoothness of drag.
Go up a size.
Yeah, you can make up for that by getting a bigger reel, 100%. Right. You're getting lightness. A lot of the materials used in a more expensive reel are lighter, right?
Yeah, but if you're finesse fishing, you're not necessarily constantly casting all day.
No, that's true.
You're a bait caster, so
right. And then the other thing is you're getting smoothness in the gearing. And then actually there's a fourth thing. And the fourth thing is typically when you get into the higher end reels, you're getting a lot of water protection for inside the case. So like in Shimano, you're getting X-Protect. In Megabass, you're getting Mag Seal. You're getting some of those bells and whistles of, hey, we're keeping water out of the reel. And I know we shake our head at that, but you got to remember, some of the biggest consumers of spinning reels are salt anglers.
Right.
Like we live in this freshwater world where we only think of freshwater, but Daiwa and Shimano, all these companies, they sell a shit ton of reels to inshore and salt guys. And that is where the extra bucks on like X-Protect, Mag Seal, all that stuff really pays off, because their inside of their rod isn't going to corrode after a year. You know what I mean? Of getting splashed in the surf. So,
but we don't deal with that here. So
no, we don't. But I'm just saying, like when you the rod makers, just when you get into that like higher price point, that's the stuff that starts getting engineered into the reels. Like stuff that necessarily a freshwater angler doesn't need. Because a perfect example is Daiwa has the Tatula LT and the Ballistic LT. They are the exact same reels, same cases, same gearing, same everything. The Ballistic has the Mag Seal and the Tatula LT does not. A lot of guys go, oh, I'm going to spend the extra bucks on the Ballistic. We're freshwater fishermen. We're not getting a lot of corrosion inside of our reels. How often are reels getting submerged? Or, not very often. So
dry them out if need be.
Yeah, so you don't really need to spend that extra money on a Ballistic, in my opinion, unless you just like, because it's kind of red. It's got different colors.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, you're not gonna like this.
All right. So Bass Force 1, you had me, bro. Until go to Lake of the Woods and you go fight a 9-pound walleye and you tell me they fight like a wet sock. Until then,
what's the biggest walleye you've caught? That's a good question.
Me? 10 pounds.
No, I mean just someone who thinks they don't fight.
Oh, yeah.
When you get into a trophy size walleye, buckle up.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. Good luck, bud.
I've been on Mille Lacs. I'll tell you one thing. One of the hardest fights I've ever had on Mille Lacs was I caught a 29-inch spawned out, hungry, pissed off female.
Yeah.
Who she jacked my Ned rig and ran into a 30-foot hole, and it was one of the most awesome fights I've ever had.
You want to know
fish was? Oh, go ahead.
Here's the difference between bass fighting and walleye fighting. Bass are dumb enough to jump out of the water.
Yeah, walleye don't jump. They go down. They dig.
If walleye jumped, guarantee Bass Force 1 would be Walleye Force 1 tomorrow.
That's true. Walleye don't put on a show. They just dig. Yep. But no, catching smaller walleyes definitely aren't super exciting. Like when you catch, your eater size, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. But yeah, big walleyes, they put up a fight, especially when it's cold, man. Some fall fishing walleyes, man, they are animals.
Yep. You got me about a 4-pound personal best here. Exactly.
Have you ever been out to Jamestown, North Dakota for the Zander?
I haven't, but if you live out there and this is an invitation, I have nothing going on next weekend, so I'm on my way.
You got a couch? He'll take a couch.
I just need a front yard to park my truck. I don't care. I'll sleep in the back.
There you go. So he's in.
Yeah, let's go.
Walleye in the spring hit you like a bit. I'm Mille Lacs, man. I go to Mille Lacs and I throw a lot of stuff around, and when I get thumped, and that fish just runs, it is almost always a walleye. Smallmouth typically pick up the bait and then just kind of like hang out with it or swim. Walleyes, they pin it down,
right?
Because walleyes, when they eat, they'll nose and nail a bait to the ground to suck it in, and then they run like a bat out of hell. So yeah, some of the best like fighting walleyes I've ever had is really late fall Mille Lacs fish.
Yeah, anytime you get over a 24-inch walleye, you're in for a good fight.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Oh, the other flip side, I've caught a smallmouth that was 6 pounds, 602. So 6 pounds, 2.2 pounds.
Yep.
It fought like a boot. Oh, it did not. It just some head shakes. It didn't really come up. Not much of a fight. It was so fat it couldn't fight. So everyone's like, "Oh, you catch a 6 pound smallmouth. It's gonna be a fight of your life." It just it was like what I felt like I was reeling in like a stop sign.
They're too big and heavy to care anymore.
Right.
I mean, they're just like, oh, there's some food. Okay, let me mosey on over here, and then I'll bite it, and then mosey on. Oh no.
Right.
Crap.
The hardest fighting smallmouth are typically the little guys, the little 1-2 pounders. They go crazy.
Yep.
Walleyes in the spring rock my jerk baits harder than most pike. Yeah, walleyes get when they're on that post spawn feed bag in the spring, man. They will not turn down a brightly colored jerk bait.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh man, they're boring. They're just like pulling up a log. No, that's because they're trying to get away from you and they're fighting you. That's why it's like pulling up a log. They're fighting you. It's not like there's just an 8-pound fish there that's hard to pull up. No, they're fighting you. So yeah.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I like walleye fishing. It's fun. Yeah. I don't typically target them, but I when I'm smallmouth fishing, I'm always in the same zip codes that they are, and it's fun to hook into them once in a while.
Like I keep telling all these walleye guys that I'm friends with, they're always bass fishing's easy. Okay, then why are you walleye fishermen? If bass fishing is so easy,
you'd all be raking in money.
Yeah, start competing in tournaments and make some money. But apparently, it's not that easy. So
guess what? In my opinion, the only easy fishing is bluegill fishing. Every other fish species is not that easy.
Yeah, but if you want to eat big bluegill, then they're not that easy.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, there's no real fish on the planet that you can just go out and go, I'm going to catch them today.
Yeah. Holy shit! Personal best walleye, 31 inches on Green Bay.
Wow!
Congratulations,
that's
sir.
a tanker.
Yeah, but here goes the bass guys. Oh, you're just trolling crankbaits and reeling them in. Blah blah blah. I bet that 31 still fought like a motherfucker though.
Yeah, after watching some of the head-to-head fishing and watching those guys troll and stuff like that, I'm like, it's not as easy as it looks because you got to know the depths, the speed, where you're making your runs, what's in the area. The fish you're marking might not even be walleyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just as much thought that goes into that as it does like drop shotting for bass.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then there's the whole what's harder to catch and blah blah blah.
They're all hard.
It's all relative, especially once you start getting into tournaments, So,
oh, look at that! We got everybody fired up on walleyes now.
I caught that a 10-inch power worm. I believe
that's a big worm. Yeah,
I believe it. Yeah,
walleyes eat everything, man. They're predators.
Yeah, put it on a hook and drag it behind the boat.
A lot of people like walleyes are high on the food chain in a lake. They're an apex predator. I mean,
they're like number 3 underneath muskie and pike.
Right, exactly.
And that's if you even have muskie in there. That means they're number 2. So, yep.
I've had 2 muskie encounters so far this year.
I've had 2 encounters, but not while. One was my buddy had a muskie on white bear. Follow a pink Senko, Texas rigged Senko up from the bottom. And then I saw one back in a bay. So
yeah. Tom Bully has made some very interesting videos on Acme. I don't know what he's talking about. Acme Hyper Rattles.
Hyper Rattles.
I know Acme makes ice baits.
I think they're just if what I'm thinking they're just like a jig and wrap, but
Yeah,
different. And I
they
don't know.
make ones that have like little
Wings. Yeah,
wings that come out.
I'm embarrassed to say I might own one or two and never caught a fish.
Oh, I definitely have one because they were on. I've got them on. I've picked them up in clearance before.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, these look interesting.
Yeah, I've never caught anything on them. So
What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Almost
What
as bad as fly
What the
fisherman.
hell is this?
You got to explain that comment a little deeper. We need context.
Makes no sense. What do you mean they're almost as bad as fly fishermen?
I'll tell you, fly fishermen keep to themselves. How often do fly fishermen ever butt into other fishermen conversations and tell them how to do things? One thing about fly fishermen is how
they do to other fly fishermen, but they don't.
Yeah, but I mean, but the fly fishing world, they just keep to themselves. They're like their own thing. They're like an island. They don't, you know what I mean? Like fly fishermen are like solitary.
Huh. Well, that's what they're hoping for when they're going fishing too, is that there's nobody around.
That's a good point. They like that stream all of them damn self. Is it stubby or heavy jigging wrap, like 2-inch weight at almost an ounce? Yeah. Okay. Well, everyone's got a jigging wrap these days. We were just talking about that.
Jigging wrap, puppet, minnows.
The new whatever clam thing is, the something minnow.
I don't know.
Acme. Oh, how they criticize bass fishermen. They're pretty aloof.
Oh.
Oh no, I've met some aloof bass fishermen.
Yeah,
trust me.
There's aloof everybody, bro.
That's a good point.
The only thing is that you don't see it because you're not in it. I'm sure there's aloof cat fishermen and crappie fishermen and pike fishermen.
Yeah, we're all into it. The thing is, like, my thing has always been, if you only live and breathe and only catch one species of fish, you're like really shutting yourself out of having a lot of like, because there's so much going on in a lake, right? You go to one lake.
Yep.
Why do you only care what one thing is doing in that lake at any time? It seems so weird to me. It's like it's an ecosystem.
The most dangerous future walleye fishermen are bass guys.
Why is that?
Bass guys that switch over to walleyes right now they're going to be the most dangerous because walleyes are moving to weed.
Oh, they're fishing. Oh, they're moving into the grass. And bass guys know how to find and work around grasslands.
How many walleyes do bass guys catch fishing grass? A ton. And if all you got to do is learn how to drag a bait through trolling crankbaits or Lindy rigs, stuff like that, that's easy. It's finding them in the weeds is the tough thing.
Interesting. That's a good. Well, because bass fishermen are also good at finding grass. Like because that's what we're always looking for. We're good at reading it on our electronics. We memorize where. Oh, the north side's got the milfoil, but if you go to the east side, it's got the curly tail pondweed.
Yep.
Curly tail dies off, and I mean, like, you know what I mean? Why bass guys know their grass?
Dude, John Hoyer won a tournament last year by ripping jigs through grass.
Really? Oh, getting like reaction bites?
Exactly.
Wow. Yep. So he could use like a rattle trap. Like ripping a rattle trap. That's that technique, right?
I think he was using like a snap jig or something like that. Basically just a jig with a plastic trailer on it.
I got it. Yep. I don't know. I think bass fishermen are doing themselves a disservice when they don't go out and target other species once in a while for fun. Like go out and pike fish, go out and crappie fish, go out and ice fish, go out and musky fish. Like go do something else besides bass fishing all the time, because you will learn more about what's going on in your favorite lakes.
That's the same with any kind of fisherman. Go fish for other shit. You'll learn how to catch more fish that way.
Well, and as bass guys, we got so much damn tackle and rigging and rods and reels. You got all the stuff you're going to need to go fish those other species. Like you can go take any of your bass rigs and go pike fish, throw a big bucktail or something. Your bass flipping sticks you can go musky fish with.
You can troll bait cast. I mean, troll the bait.
Right. Cast. I mean, you already have all the gear to fish other species. Like I take out my, I will admit, I will once in a while bobber fish for panfish with my NRX rods. Oh, yeah, because they have them, they're in the boat. I'll just slap a bobber out and we'll go chase bluegills, right?
Yep.
Like I'm
go catch other fish, folks. Yep. Well,
that's what ice season is for. Okay, yeah. If you want to bounce, this has been fun.
Yeah, because I got to go check damage outside. I have neighbors that are at their cabin going, did we get any damage? And I'm like,
they want you to do a damage report.
They got my phone number apparently.
Awesome, man. No, this is fun. I'm glad. Thanks for hanging out this long. I mean, I had nothing going on boring Friday night.
Yeah, that was a quick 2 hours. Jesus Christ.
We covered a lot of stuff, man. This is fun.
I know we could have kept going, but yeah, that and I also have to pee. Too many
Yeah, I know. Too many
All right.
PBRs. All right, man. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Cool.
We'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
All right. So that was Doug. Awesome dude. Him and I have fished a few times together. We fished a derby together. He's got some really great podcast content up in the Minnesota Twin Cities area. He's like a podcast guy. That's what ice season is for. I love ice fishing. I used to hate it. I used to think it was lame. I used to spend all winter just thinking about when the open season would start. And then I had a son and I needed more things to do with my son in the winter. And as he grew a little older, he started enjoying the outside a little more in the winter, and now he's 8. And him and I's thing now is, I got the auger, I got a shack, I take some of my boat electronics and I turn it into ice electronics, and we go out and I live in an area that if you draw a circle around, if you draw like a 30-minute circle around my house, I have like 3 or 4 lakes, and so we just go out and ice fish for a couple hours. My son loves it. It's something we can go do together. So I've gotten back into ice fishing in the last 2-3 years, and it's great. I mean, it's not the most fun thing in the world. It's a lot of work. You got to drag a shack out. You got to find spots. You got to drill a bunch of holes. You got to set up. You find fish. You set up. You drop down. You catch 2, and then boom, the school moves on. And you're like, oh no, we're all set up and we got the heat on. I guess we're just gonna sit here and eat snacks and hang out for a while, and hopefully the fish come back. And so ice fishing can be a good time waster in the winter. We're lucky enough up here in Minnesota where we have some open water on rivers during the winter because of some power plants. So we can go and open water bass fish all winter. It gets a little busy. A lot of people go down to these river spots and fish. So if you go there on the weekends and the weather is over 30 degrees, there's, people shoulder to shoulder. So ice fishing is a nice thing to do in the winter that is outside. It's good to get out, and sometimes the fishing can be really good. Sometimes you get on a great crappie school. Sometimes you catch some bass. It's not as bad as everyone thinks. It is expensive. You do have to buy the stuff, the heater, the shack, the auger, some rods, some tackle. You got to get a flasher set up, or convert one of your boat electronics into ice season. I mean, it's an investment, but my kid's only young once, and he's not going to hang out with me every winter. So something we can go do together. So yeah, I don't know if you guys got any other questions. Feel free to shoot some into the comments here. I'll hang out for another minute. Otherwise, we are going to punch out after a 2-hour live session. Caught my PB Smalley doing that. Oh, okay. Yeah, U of M did the Monticello thing a few times. Yeah, it's a cool area. The fishing it's really good really early in the season, and then it's really good really late in the winter. In the middle of the winter, those fish get really beat up on. There's a lot of people out there with live bait. So if you're throwing plastics like I do, and you get out there next to 7 or 8 live bait guys, and then you're throwing a plastic, it's a little tough. Doug. Dang, I miss the ice fishing talk. I'll tell you what, Doug, next time we'll do a live and we'll just talk about ice season as it gets closer. We'll only do ice. We'll just talk about ice and everyone will hate it. I love it. Yeah, PB Smalley's on the Monticello stretch of the river, man. You can catch some monsters. I've caught some 4+ pound smallmouth out there. I've never caught a giant, like a 5-6 pounder, but I've had some really nice solid 4s out there. Every once in a while, people pull in a giant walleye on the river there. I've seen some, 27+ inch fish caught on the river, waiting. Let's see. Imagine being in Canada and having to wait until the end of June to bass fish. Oh man, you Canadians, you have such a short season. It's so crazy. I don't know how I could stand it. Yeah, you got to wait way late into the summer for the ice to be totally out, and then the first sniff of cold, the ice is back up. So I guess you just got to ice fish. At least you can go chase trout and other kind of things on the ice, and you got snowmobiles, so that's cool. When's your next few reviews coming out? That's a good question. I've been putting off doing a perfect pitch review because I really wanted to throw the Waze Megabass swim baits Oh no, I'm sorry, the Waze swim jigs with the little underspin blade. I was waiting for some of those to come in because I want to throw the bigger 5-inch spark shads with the Waze on that rod to see how it did. So there's a couple things I want to do on the perfect pitch before I can give it like the full review treatment. And I think I'm good on that. So I think I've done so much. I've done enough stuff on the perfect pitch where I think I can really give it a killer review. So that's probably the next one that's going to come out. The Faust review I want to do because the Faust is a rod that basically does two things, and that's it. It's going to be a really short review. And plus, it's not a rod that everybody can even get their hands on because it's a JDM specific destroyer. So that'll be a quick review. I should probably just bang that one out real quick. People aren't really going to care that much, I bet, because it's not like a hot rod and you can't really get it anywhere. So I'll probably do a Faust and perfect pitch reviews next. What reviews do you guys want to see? I don't know if you guys know what I have in my collection, but if you guys want any specific stuff bumped up, let me know. The tequila Baccarat P5. I frogged with that a whole bunch when I first got it because I have a bunch of frogs. But the thing about the tequila is the thing about the tequila Baccarat P5 is it's rated up to 4 ounces, so it can throw swim baits. So I've been ordering and getting some more bigger swim baits in so I can throw that on the tequila before I give it a proper review. So this last weekend I was throwing a glide bait, a Bait Sanity glide bait. I was throwing a Dream Smasher, some of their plastic swim baits. So the tequila Baccarat will get a full review once I get more time swim baiting with it. And if you guys know, I'm not really a swim baiting expert. I've been talking to a lot of swim baiting experts. So I got it rigged up with a Corrado K with like 17-pound fluorocarbon and big swim baits. So anyway, the tequila Baccarat review will probably be a little while I get a little better at swim baiting with it. Let's see. The Waze are good until the blade falls out. Yeah, everyone says the blade break off. The Trailer Keeper is great. I want them to come out with a plain swim jig. Well, you break the blade off and use it as a swim jig, I guess. I don't know. I mean, what I've heard is though is Megabass, if the underspin falls off, you can send it back to Megabass to get a replacement. I've heard they'll replace them for free. So try contacting Megabass support and see what they say about that. 7-foot spinning rod, medium action, anything under $300 better than the X Bride. There probably is somewhere out there. I haven't tried every single, $200 to $250 spinning rod in the world. I think a rod that really should be considered if we're talking as good as an X Pride is there's one specific model in the Daiwa Tattoo Elite series. It's the Brent Ayler 7-1 medium AGS. So it's his like drop shot / do everything finesse rod. I had that rod and I used it for a year and then I sold it and I've regretted it ever since. So if you're a Daiwa guy, that particular rod, the Brent Ayler 7-1 medium AGS Tattoo Elite spinning rod is killer. That's a really great rod. You get an AGS guides. It's got a really awesome action. It's good for slightly more fishing drop shots and grass. It's good. It's for like the casting and lifting kind of drop shot retrieves. It's good. I used a crap out of it for Ned rigging. I really miss that rod. I want to get that thing back. I should never have sold it. I typically only sell rods when I don't like them, and I like that one. I sold it. That was really stupid. So yeah, I would say check that one out. So is it better than the X Pride? I don't know. It's got better guides, the AGS versus the SIC, but that's a killer stick. That Brent Ayler 7-1 AGS Tatula Elite. What are your thoughts on the 3D Dynamics reel seat handle and some of the P5s like the Super Destroyer? I just placed an order one. I haven't touched it. I only own 3 P5s right now. I have the X-Bites, the Landsat, and the Tequila. So that 3D Dynamics reel seat, I don't know. I want to tell you guys a story though. So Ben at Hookup Tackle, he told me this. So it's coming from a source who's in the Megabass zeitgeist. He went to the Japan fishing show this year, before COVID. They had their big Japan fishing show, and that's when Megabass put out all the P5 rods. And apparently, the rods had Zaldane's name on the rods, like Zaldane signature stuff on the rods. And apparently Ben knows Zaldane and texted him and was like, "Hey, these rods are, your rods." And apparently Zaldane didn't even know his name was going to be on those rods. So Chris Zaldane apparently had zero knowledge or interaction on any of the designs around P5s, but yet his name is on a bunch of the handles. So I think that's kind of funny. Sometimes people think pros are like names are on signature rods, and I think some of the pros just have a contract with these companies and they can use their names as they see fit in their marketing. So I don't have any thoughts on the Dynamics handle. If you're really curious about it, you ordered it, so you're going to find out soon enough. But Ben at Hookup Tackle, you can Instagram him. He will talk to you one-on-one about any of the rods and get more information about them. So that's what I would do there. I really want a Jade Python for drop shotting. Okay, so I got to look this up. Jade Python is not a rod that I remember. Oh, it's a Orochi XXX. Okay, so this is in the Japanese Orochi line. So it's an F3, so that's pretty light, 610 Jade Python. Fast tip. Yeah, this thing seems like it's... I'm just looking really quick. Yeah, Jade Python looks like it would be a legit drop shot rod. Probably very similar to the Whip Snake. It seems really close to this Whip Snake. So one thing you guys got to remember, the XXX Orochis are not as nice as the USA XX Orochis, from what I've been told. Apparently the US version of the Orochis are a little nicer than the Japanese ones. They're a little more expensive. They have a little more fit and finish put into them. So I don't know, maybe the Whip Snake might be something you should look at. Have you tried the new jackhammers? I know you fish Molly Lakes. Wonder if you notice any advantage. I'm assuming you're talking about the new Stealth Blade jackhammers that came out with the clear blade. Nobody has those except for Z-Man people. So Z-Man anglers or guys who own tackle shops, all the inside people have those things right now. The Stealth Z-Man blades are not available. I'm sorry, the Stealth chatterbaits are not out in the world right now for the general public. So I have zero thoughts on those. Might be great, might not. I think it's kind of gimmicky. Clear blade, doesn't matter. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm typically keep an open mind until I try it or other people have tried it. But it seems kind of gimmicky, but we'll see. Keep throwing questions at me if you guys want. Otherwise, I'm going to go to bed. But I'm happy to answer and talk anymore with you guys if you'd like. Let's see. Ben is 12 out of 10. Great guy. That discount on combos is killer too. Yeah, he's awesome, man. If he can't discount rods, he'll typically really discount a reel to throw on the rod, which gives you a great deal for the most part. There's always wiggle room in prices. If you're a heavy customer, he'll definitely take care of you. Tackle Trap's good too. There's 3 shops that I order from outside of my local area, and that's Hookup Tackle, Tackle Trap, and there's a sneaky shop that I don't know if I want to say it on the feed, but Summerland Outdoors. We're 2 hours into this, so if anyone's still watching, Summerland Outdoors is a really great shop. They have Daiwa, Shimano, Megabass, good stock. They don't get as hammered as some of the other places. I do buy a lot from Summerland Outdoors. Someone up earlier mentioned a comment or question that I wanted to tackle that I didn't. Fishing the fall open. No, I'm not. That weekend is very close to a fall trip me and Josh and some of our friends are doing up at Pelican. And I don't think I could get the wife to let me fish a tournament and then turn around in 3 or 4 days and go off on a fishing trip up north. So I'm skipping the fall open this year. So Doug, did you register? I think registration's already closed. They already filled up for our fall tournament open. Thoughts on the new iCast reels from Shimano and Daiwa, like the Vanford? The Vanford is going to be sick. The Vanford is the deal. This is going to be the reel everyone's going to freak out about for the next 5 years. So just to set the stage, the Shimano Stratic FL is the change in the Stratic platform. If you guys haven't watched Tackle Advisor's review on the Stratic FL, he explains exactly why it's a big leap forward in spinning reels for the price point. Now, the Vanford is essentially the new Stratic FL in the CI4 frame. So it's just a lighter version of the Stratic FL. Is it? Yeah, FL. So the Vanford is going to be the real. Everyone's going to love it. It's going to come out. It's got the nice tall long stroke spool from the Stella. It's got all new gearing. It's got a one-piece handle. Thank God there's no more joint in the handle on the Stratic FL or the Vanford. So if you have a Stratic FL and you love it and you want it lighter, that's the Vanford. So it is going to be a 6.666 reel. I'm worried that I'm going to get my hands on one and I will want to replace everything with them because I'm guessing they're going to be really good. Supposedly, shops are starting to pick them up next week, believe it or not. I got word that some shops are getting Vanford shipments in like next Monday or Tuesday. So there's a possibility. I put my name on the list at one of the shops to pick a 2500 Vanford up next week. We'll see if they send me an invoice and I can actually get one. But if I can get my hands on a Vanford by the end of next Friday, I'll try and throw a video up about it or something. I don't know. Whoever on YouTube does the first really good in-depth video on a Vanford, you're going to get a ton of views because people are very curious about that reel. I'm not that curious about it because it's essentially a Stratic FL that's lighter. It has different colors. You're in. Awesome. Are you fishing with somebody or are you going to fish the open by yourself? You should have a partner. This is a good time for you to get a partner. I'd do it, but my wife would kill me. Yes, Summerland Outdoors is my shop. I buy there a lot. Yeah, great customer service. They have an awesome selection. I found rods and reels that everyone else is sold out of at Summerland. Totally legit shop. Love those guys. Familiar at all with the YGKG Soul Braid? Curious how it works compared to Sunline SX1 for Ness. I am not the guy to talk about line. I'm not a line nerd. I wish I knew more about line. Tackle Advisors on Instagram and YouTube, he is a line super nerd. So I actually would go and hit up Tackle Advisors on Instagram and shoot him a private message and ask your line question. He will probably have an answer. So don't ask me about braid. I typically run either Power Pro Super Slick V2 or J Braid Grand. I kind of stick to those three. Although I hear the Berkeley X8 is fantastic. So maybe next year I'll work in some of that Berkeley X8 into my arsenal, but I have a whole bunch of the other line that I got to go through first. But the Vanford doesn't have an anti-reverse switch. That's true. They did ditch it. What's funny is I have an anti-reverse switch on my Tatula LTs, and I accidentally hit it sometimes, and I hate it because I hit the switch and I'm like, oh, hit the stupid switch. I got to flip it back. So RIP the anti-reverse switch. I'm not going to miss it. I don't think other people are going to. Let's go back to this question. So the Tatula 300, swim bait guys are probably going to love it. It's for swim baits. It's for throwing big ass Huddlesons, big ass swim baits. I'm not a swim bait guy, so I don't have really any thoughts on the Tatula 300. Other than the Vanford, the one reel that I thought was really interesting was the Kage MQ. So Daiwa are taking their monoclock frame that is in the Exist and the Surte, and they're dropping it down to a slightly lower price point. I think it's still 300. It's like $300 for the Kage MQ. Now, why people are like, why would you want a $300 Kage Daiwa spinning reel? Well, a lot of people don't understand that the MQ is this frame design from Daiwa that's built for big, hard charging fish. So if you fish like stripers, redfish, inshore, where you're fishing big fish that make really hard, fast runs, Daiwa made the monoclock body, which is a one-piece frame. So it's all one chunk of metal. Now, most spinning reels have two pieces. They have the body and then a cap that goes on it to close it up. The monoclock Daiwa reels are one chunk of metal. Now, the advantage of the monoclock is it's stronger because it's one piece, but also you can put a much bigger main gear in a monoclock reel than you can a standard spinning reel. So that bigger gear makes it stronger and you can pick up more line. So the monoclock reels right now, the Exist has the monoclock body, the Surte LT has the monoclock, and now this Kage MQ is coming out. Someday you'll be able to get a Tatula MQ frame reel. At some point, the price point for the monoclock frame will come down to the like 200, maybe sub $200 price range. And then all of Daiwa's reels, in my opinion, at some point will be the MQ monoclock body. That's just the future. That's where it's going. Right now, it's just too expensive. When it's too expensive, I think, to tool and provide monoclock reels in that $200 price range. It'll get there eventually. So if I was going to predict the future, I think in like 3 years, 4 years, all of Daiwa's main reel lines will be the MQ, the monoclock body. So it's coming. So it's starting to trickle down the price points. Oh yeah, the BG has the new monoclock. Yeah, the zinc gear. So the BG is, yeah, I forgot about the BG. So that's, I mean, that's for salt purposes, obviously, but yeah, isn't that only in bigger sizes? I don't think they have like a freshwater size of the BG monoclock. That's right. I haven't looked into it that much, but the Kage kind of caught my eye as, oh, they're going for freshwater guys with the monoclock, which, you know, cheaper than the other ones. Are you doing any more smallmouth videos? I guess I could. I don't typically film much when I'm out fishing, mostly just because I don't want to sit and dink around with batteries and mess around with the camera all the time, and I don't want to edit. I don't like editing. That's why almost all my videos are just one take. Editing is not my favorite thing to do. So I could do another smallmouth video. I do like doing it. I go out in Wisconsin. So I live in the Twin Cities, but I have a camper in Northwest Wisconsin. That's kind of my base camp with my wife and kids. And then we go out and do a lot of fishing around like Hayward and Spooner, those areas, and smallmouth fish. And I also like going to Mille Lacs in the fall. So yeah, I'll try and make some more smallmouth videos. If I do them, it'll be around specific baits or techniques. I'm not going to do fishing vlogs. Everybody else does those. I like fishing vlog videos, but I like when other people do them. Like, hey, we're going out fishing today. Whatever we catch is cool. We're loading up the boat. Oh, we're going out. We're hitting these spots, catching some fish. Everybody else does them really good. It's not really my thing. I want to do reviews. I want to just talk about gear for the most part, if that's what I can do. So I don't think you'll see too much like fishing day vlogging out of me, unless I really feel motivated. Pre-ordered the Vanford through Tackle Warehouse, and I cried a little when they moved the date back. Yeah, I don't think people who order from Tackle Warehouse are going to get their Vanfords first. I think it's going to be the smaller shops that are going to get a pile of them, and then their employees and staff are going to take them, and then their regulars are going to take them, and then they might have a few left over for the regular folks. I don't know. It's going to be weird. I hope to have more Vanford updates next week. Hopefully, if the shop I'm buying one from gets them in on Tuesday, if the shop I'm getting them in on Tuesday has them, I'll try and get one the end of next week. Follow my Instagram. I'll make updates on that stuff on Instagram, probably not on YouTube. So if you guys are not following me on my Instagram page, that's where I'll have way more updates. I'm trying to be a lot more active on my Instagram, so I'll put the link here. One sec. A lot of people have been messaging me on Instagram, which is awesome. It's way easier to talk to people on Instagram through the private messages. So, you know, if you want to actually like shoot me up or shoot me up, if you want to hit me up, shoot questions, definitely hit me up on the IG. Did you pick up that trash panda? Oh, that's that 13 frog. I have not yet. I don't need any frogs at the moment. It will be on my to buy list. I actually just picked up, was weird as I did an impulse eBay purchase of a Reaction Innovations Swamp Donkey, because anytime new Swamp Donkeys come up on in the package, I've been told you just got to jump on them. So I've always wanted to try those frogs. They're way discontinued. They kind of have a cult following. So I'm gonna try the Swamp Donkey out next time we go out frogging next week or two. Also, no one has gear info. This channel does, except maybe Tactical Bassin. You know, everyone keeps comparing me to Tactical Bassin, which is funny because if that's the only other source that talks about like high-end gear, that's pretty crazy. Tactical Bassin is awesome. I love those guys. They're an inspiration for sure, but they don't get super nerdy around rods and reels. They get super nerdy around baits. Like they're really, really smart at baits. Also, their business model is to drive you to links to buy stuff off Tackle Warehouse because they get commission. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Tackle Warehouse's #1 affiliate in the entire world is Tactical Bassin. So they drive more sales and more traffic to Tackle Warehouse with actual conversions of sales than any other website influencer source on the internet. So they're the #1 driver of traffic to Tackle Warehouse, which is the #1 fishing store. So do the math. They're, you know, that's their job, is to check out baits, find stuff they like, show you where to go buy them, and then they get a cut, which is awesome business model. Good for them. But it is in their best interest to show you stuff you're going to like, stuff that they like, positive, happy things, because that'll drive sales. Where, you know, so you're not going to hear a lot of negativity or what they don't like. These are the downsides to these baits or these rods, reels. You're never going to hear that out of them. They're in the business of selling stuff. Let's see, I already did that one. Okay, so you guys gave me a bunch of questions. Appreciate it. Derek, Victor, hanging around. Really cool. Jamie, Doug, thanks for hanging out with me for a couple hours. Really appreciate it. If you guys have any other questions, shoot them in now. I've been going 2.5 hours, which is crazy. Can tell I got nothing else to do on a Friday night. And this is the first live feed. I hope to do these more in the future. Maybe I'll get a couple more guests. Maybe Doug, I can talk him into coming back. I should get my fishing partner, Josh, to come on. We could talk about tournaments and stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be fishing against Josh, my tournament partner. I'm actually fishing against him in a TOC next weekend. It'll be my last fishing tournament of the year, so maybe we'll do a recap live stream and just talk about that. I'm going to try and video it. We'll see. Gancraft. No. Wait. Maybe? I got to look up some of their baits. I know Gancraft has a lot of hype right now. And oh, yeah, duh. They have the jointed claw. Yeah, like, so apparently Gancraft jointed claw is like the bomb ass glide bait. I have not used one. They're very expensive. What are they? Yeah, they're like, for the 7-inch is $70. So oh, Gancraft, they make spinnerbaits too. I know they make a bunch of stuff. I just know them as the jointed claw. That's where I hear about them. So no, I don't have experience with them. If you do, let me know what baits I should get. Yeah, they got the buzzbait. They got the. Are you talking about the Killers bait over? I know they have a COVID mask. Get a COVID mask. No, don't have experience. I'm not your guy for glide baits or swim baits. I'm your guy for finesse. You want to talk drop shot, Ned rigs, anything with spinning bait, shaky heads, that kind of stuff. That's my wheelhouse. And top water. Killer's Mini. Oh yeah, Killer's spinner bait. All right, I'm looking one of those up right now. Whoa, $17. Wow, the blades are gorgeous. Holy crap. The blades on those Gancraft spinnerbaits look like a custom plated gun. Holy cow. All right, well, that's cool. I'm going to look into those. Thanks for the tip. Hey, what's up, Brian Casey? Holy cow. Blast from the past, bro. What's going on? How you doing? I gave Josh all my secrets on green. Well, I'm not fishing against him on green, so he can go ahead. Our tournament is on knife. So don't give him anything on knife, please, because I got to try and beat him on knife. So if you got spots and he asks you, tell him some stupid bullshit to throw him off. That would be very helpful. Thank you. Dude, we got to go fishing this fall. Brian Casey's an awesome fisherman. Nice guy. He's taking a little break from fishing, but I hope he's back soon. All right. Getting back on the horse. That's awesome, man. Glad to hear it. Brian Casey, look out, Mille Lacs smallmouth. BC is coming for you. That's good to hear, man. Really happy to see you back out on the water. We gotta go out this fall. Let's do it. So, all right, I am signing off. I got to make sure my kids went to bed. Appreciate everyone hanging out with me on the live feed. Hit me up on Instagram. Have a fantastic weekend. Tight lines. Have a great evening, everybody. Peace out.